Hi, my name is EB Games, and here's the thing. Okay, I am writing a book. That's what this stream is. Is we're gonna yeah, you all are being my rubber ducks today. I am going to yap about what I'm writing while I'm writing and editing, and some of that might be some slightly autistic info dumping. But you might be wondering, okay, because we're in a Red Robin today. And you might be wondering, EB, why are we in Red Robin? Like, why are we in Red Robin? Dogman, thank you so much for the 14 months. I appreciate you. Welcome to the stream. Where the fuck is my model? But you might be wondering, why are we in a Red Robin? What the fuck's going on? The reason for that, okay? The reason we're in a Red Robin is because every time I go to write, pretty much what happens is I get the best fucking ideas when I am in Red Robin. And I couldn't really tell you why that's the case. Also, I don't know why my spout capture is not working, but that's okay. I couldn't really tell you why that's the case, but that is the case. I get the best strikes of inspiration when I'm at fucking Red Robin. So we're in Red Robin today, okay? That is our backdrop. So we have a few things I want to do today. So pretty much originally my goal was to finish editing. First of all, finish editing and writing chapter 5 today, and then we could kind of like go over it again together and talk about like why I made the decisions I made, stuff like that, and also just get some feedback on stuff, because a lot of this too is I'm gonna be reading what I've written out loud to you guys, because that helps me, and then also you guys get a little story, you know. But the problem, I did not finish. I did not finish writing. I thought I was gonna finish writing, and then I didn't. So we're all in this together. Let me crop this because I still want the essence of Red Robin to be with us, even if you can't see it the whole time. So yes, we are in a Red Robin today, but welcome to the stream, everybody. We haven't done one of these in a hot minute, but I'm really excited because I love writing, and I really like debut. Kind of like I don't know, it was weird because like debut was one of those things where it definitely helped like reinvigorate my creativity. I want to do more stuff like lore videos. I think it's fucked up that VTubers have like one lore video and like that's it. Like if I have the budget for it, or I want to like do like a mini lore video of like other stuff like every like 3 to 6 months, I think would be cool. And I have something I've actually already started cooking. So I'm cooking, okay? We are rubber ducks, and yes, you are all my rubber ducks. So pretty much, if you have not read my book, if you are new in town, let me give you the TLDR. Now, if you have watched my Skyrim streams, the TLDR is this is the world with my Skyrim characters, essentially, but it's a different world because obviously I don't own the intellectual rights to fucking Skyrim, right? So but if you're new in town, hi, my name is EB Games. I mostly play Skyrim, but I really love fantasy themed things, and I'm really passionate about my original characters. And I'm writing a book, and it's taken a while. So Sherry, thank you so much for the follow. You're not guessing Gatekeep Girl Boss. So I will give you the link to the book. I posted the first 4 chapters on Wattpad and Inkit. But I will be honest, because this is of nature a editing stream, there are going to be spoilers for the book. So if you want to support me, but you're like, I don't want spoilers, I want to wait till it's actually out to read it, feel free to lurk. I appreciate it nonetheless. But if you're like, I want to hear what's going on in EB's little noggin, then that's what we're going to do. So the TLDR, because something else I need to work on is my 1-pager, essentially. So, and it's not even a 1-pager. Where's my, hold on, I'm not sharing my screen real quick for a second, just because NDA shit. Okay, so like, I have all my folders and shit. I have my outline, And like, okay, like this is no point of no return for spoilers, by the way. So like we're on Act 1 right now, right? Hayden, thank you so much for the 6 months, Cameron. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate you. So many PlayStations. You all get PlayStation 2s, but thank you. So point of no return, because this has the entire like book on it essentially. So I have my book divided into like an act structure just because I wanted to do like an intermission, if that makes sense, with these 2 other characters. Okay, let's go over what's happened so far. Okay, let's give the fucking abridged version of what's happened in chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because those are the ones that are currently out. Those are the ones that are available if you want to read them. Now, quick disclaimer, what is up on Wattpad and Inkit is kind of like a first draft in a way, right? My full intention is, my goal is to get traditionally published, right? That is literally my goal, is to get like on the shelves. I want to be in fucking Barnes and Noble, okay? I want to be in like Borders and shit, right? So that's my goal, is to kind of like get feedback, and also still build an audience for my characters for my book, before I'm like at the stage where I need to like start looking into getting a professional editor, start looking into like a literary agent or something like that, because right now I do have a team of beta readers, but it's all my friends. But the good news is my friends aren't afraid to be mean to me. And something you might notice is on the Act 1, or Act 5, or Part 5 chapter that we have up here, there's a word, Control F with the word said, because one of my friends shook me by the shoulders and was like, you say said too much. So now I have this website up that is 300 words to use instead of saying the word said. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of a lifesaver. It's been really, really useful. So highly recommend. I'll give a link to this in case there are any other aspiring writers in the chat in the club tonight, because this shit saves me. Okay, so basically TLDR, right? We're gonna go through what we have so far in case you haven't read it yet, or if you're not caught up. First act, we got introduced to our main 3 characters of Act 1, right? One of them, and actually let me pull up, do you guys want pictures? Oh my god, I'll give you pictures. Hold on, where's my screenshots? Hold on, let me make sure I don't accidentally dox myself when I do this, because one of the characters that is one of the main characters in this is actually the protagonist of our next big Skyrim playthrough. So there's that. So also, I did retcon. Originally, when I started writing this, I was like, okay, I want them to be like younger, like childhood kind of stuff. And then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So there was some stuff where if you read chapter 1 when it like first came out, I have retconned. Their ages now are around like 15 to 16 when the story starts, just because like, I don't know, I was talking to David about it, and he's like, you could write a whole story about them like being in the orphanage. And I was like, but I don't wanna. That's not what I wanna write. Like, this is like the means to the end of like what I do wanna write. Okay, so basically, let me make sure I'm not accidentally sharing anything I don't want to. That would be a no-no. So let me pull up my photos real quick, actually. Will this work? I think this will work. Okay, let me change my window capture, and we're gonna TLDR. Is this gonna work? Why does that not work? That's so lame. Okay, maybe we'll do this. That's my story outline, and then maybe make this the game capture. Maybe. Kind of dumb, but it might work actually. No, I don't know why it won't let me show you the picture, but I can just do. Well, I can just load the pictures in here, I guess. Let me just share my screen real quick. I'm just gonna do that. It's kind of like stupid, but it'll work as long as yeah, I should be good. I'm not doxing myself. Yay! Okay, so they have 3 main characters right now. One of them is our home. So keep in mind, because they're in Skyrim, this is them like 4 years in the future, right? But just stay with me here, okay? So we start off with our introduction to our 3 main characters, Freya, Vanya, and Kain. So this is Freya, right? She's very silly. She's very goofy. Very lighthearted, right? She doesn't really like she doesn't take herself too seriously, right? She's very silly, right? And then we also have, I'm gonna have to go back. I have so many screenshots of so many different characters. Then we also have Vanya, which if you've watched a lot of my Skyrim playthroughs, you'll know she is, kind of her end game. But she's, I'm gonna be real. She's kind of a bitch. She's kind of okay, I love her to death. But she's kind of, if you put, actually into a character. So that is pretty much Vanya. And then we also have Kain, who I don't have made in Skyrim very well for reasons we're not going to get into right now, because we're going to get into them later. So we get kind of their introduction to them. They're all talking about how they're at an orphanage together. They're all around 15, 16 when the story starts. And Vanya has been always kind of an outcast. She's kind of constantly getting the shit kicked out of her. And to her, it's like, it's because I'm not like other girls and I don't want to fight and I just want to read. When really it's because she can't keep her fucking mouth shut. And she talks too much shit. And then she gets hit for it. And then she's like, woe is me. So it's like, so the thing is she is, the other thing she's doing that does actually make her not like other girls is the country. Let me get out the world map while we're at it. let me get out the world map because we're gonna need that. Hold on, let me make sure I have the updated one. Okay, that's how you know I'm like getting deep into my autism. We're getting the map out. Okay, map. Where's the map? Okay, so basically, there we go. So they're all right here in the country of Eldor in the city of Balria, which is the capital. I haven't like figured out everything with the world with all the cities and stuff yet, but this is significantly more filled in than the last lore stream that we did, because I have been cooking. Okay, I've been cooking in so many ways. So they are here in the country of Eldor in the capital city of Balria, biggest city in the country, right? And in the country of Balria, or in the country of Eldor, magic is very, very strictly outlawed. There are like slight exceptions made for healing magic, but even then it's like you gotta have a license, you gotta have registration, right? And if you're caught doing it illegally, death. And part of the reason for that is because of the pantheon of gods in this world. The way magic was brought to the world was by a imprisoned, a witch that was imprisoned by the gods, defying them and bringing the knowledge of magic to humanity. So a lot of people, specifically in this country, view magic, like people that use magic, as going against the gods, right? And if you're wondering who that witch was, that's me. That's my VTuber lore. Yes, my VTuber lore, and this is all connected. It's all in my brain. But basically, TLDR, right? She's doing healing magic and wants to learn more about magic in secret, right? And she's always kind of had a knack for it. She kind of learned it on accident in a way. She's kind of like, I don't want to say like a prodigy, because she's not like good at it, because she doesn't like know anything. She doesn't have a mentor or anything like that. But she like knows how to do basic magic, basic healing spells. She's kind of like figured out on her own. You know what I mean? So basically what happens, and this is again not listed here, this is the events of chapter 1 that I'm kind of like speeding through in a way, but basically what happens is Vanya's getting the shit kicked out of her, business as usual, by this kid Kain, right? And Kain is this elven kid who's deeply insecure and takes it out on others. Like, that's literally his whole bit, and that's actually what we're going to be talking about today in chapter 5, right? So, he's kicking the shit out of her, business as usual, and then, there's a new girl in the orphanage, right? And it's this girl, Freya, and Freya sees Vanya getting the shit kicked out of her. She's like, hey man, you can't do that, that's fucked up. And Kane's like, what are you gonna do? Stop me? And then she punches him in the face, right? But the thing is this is a society, this is a very militaristic society, and let's be real, Freya is a tall, buff woman. So Kain is equally afraid of her, but also intrigued by her. So she kicks his teeth in, although he does fight back and gets some pretty good hits onto her, and they're both like fucked up by the end of it. And basically, Vanya goes back with Freya. Vanya takes Freya back to her room because she needs to figure out where she's sleeping. She literally just got here, right? Like, her parents, like, just died, and now she's already beating the shit out of someone. But Vanya, is like, I think I can trust her, because this is the only person that has ever stood up for Vanya, right? Now, keep in mind, Freya doesn't know Vanya's kind of the worst in some ways, so Freya sees Vanya as a helpless victim, right? And Vanya is like, oh my god, this is the first person that has ever stood up for me, right? And she's hurt and she's bleeding. What am I gonna do? Healing magic, right? Now here's the catch, and this was actually revealed in chapter 4, I believe. Yeah, in Visions of the Past, right? Freya's parents were mage hunters, like hired by the government mage hunters, right? Like her parents had this whole adventuring group that was basically contracted by the government. They were known as the Strangers of the Spear, right? To eliminate all magical arcane threats in the country, right? So as soon as Freya starts seeing this magic shit, she's like, oh, because again, she just got here. But here's the thing, right? Freya has only seen her parents fight mages, right? So when she sees mages, she thinks big fireballs, fucking lightning coming out of the sky, right? She doesn't think healing. You know what I mean? She's only seen the destructive side of magic. She hasn't seen how magic can kind of help, you know? So eventually when Vanya basically heals her, she's like, I don't know, but I guess this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. So the two become besties. But the thing with Freya is too nice to literally everyone. So Freya has also not just befriended Vanya, but also befriended Kain, which is where the source of a lot of conflicts come from, right? So we also have some stuff that has already happened to Vanya attending the war college. That happened in chapter 3, I believe, where basically Vanya, Freya, Kain rolled up to the war college and she was like, can I have an education, please? And they were like, no. And then Freya was like, go fuck yourself. Which, like, that's not actually what happened, but it was kind of a bit of a comment. Like, the central theme in this book is classism. Like, that's a big part of it, low-key, is just, like, we'll get more into it later, but there's a lot going on where Vanya's like, I'm smart, I have the know-how. Do you have any money? Well, no. Oh, well, which is also something I kind of need to retcon, but it's less like, and we'll talk about that. But there was a lot I need to retcon with chapter 5, the way I was structuring it. And part of it was because my knowledge of history and medieval history, fantasy, stuff like that, I'm not a historian. I like Skyrim and Dragon Age and Game of Thrones, right? So I had to actually have David, who is not a historian, but very well versed in history, kind of fact check me on some stuff. Like, there was a few plot points where I was like, this would be really cool. And then he was like, yeah, but that makes no fucking sense, right? So basically, right, so Freya is Freya magic, right? But one of the big conflicts is Kain and Vanya, even though Freya's trying to be like, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Vanya and Kain are still kind of like at each other's throats on the down low. But they just don't want to do it in front of Freya, because even though Freya is kind of big and scary, she's an absolute sweetheart, and they don't want to hurt her feelings, you know? So that's kind of the TLDR of where we're at. When is Act 1 going to end, you ask? I have no fucking idea. Because, like, we still have all this to get through, and this is still something, we're gonna retcon a lot of this, we're gonna rewrite a lot of this, but, okay. So here's where we're at, right? Basically, in the last chapter, last time on Dragon Ball Z, right? Vanya gets into the war college. She doesn't really get in. She just basically is like, well, she basically is just told by this really chill professor, well, you know, you can't, like, technically be a student, but, like, you can just, like, sit here and hang out and read if you want. Just, you know, don't be weird. And she's like, fuck yeah. So she's trying to, like, make a good impression, take advantage of this opportunity. And Freya and Kain are like, damn, what do we do now? Right, so what Freya and Kain do is, turns out, this big ass tournament is about to happen where people from all over the country come over to fight in a tournament to see who can join the prestigious army of the king, right? So when I say King's Army, right, yes, it is called the King's Army, but, like, people in the King's Army, it's kind of like, you're not like a field grunt if you get in. You basically get, like, elevated to high society and in, like, an instant, right? And you still have to be like involved in combat, but you get put into more like strategic roles and stuff like that, right? So the King's Army is still prestigious, right? But to be part of like the King's Army, like it's all called that, but it's like this is for like the big dogs, right? So that tournament's in town, right? It's about to happen, right? I say in town like it's a traveling thing. It's not, right? But that tournament's about to happen, right? Vanya doesn't give a fuck about it, right? But Freya and Kain are like, whoa, that sounds pretty cool. And because it's like such a big deal, this is like basically a national holiday for the world, right? Basically, they're like, okay, let's like they're seeing like all these people like partying. They're seeing like all these people coming in, people from all over the country. They're seeing like monsters brought in for people to fight. They're like, whoa. So they want to go into the arena and see what's going on, because as people are starting to show up, people are starting to go there to practice. And Freya basically is like, I don't know how we're gonna get in. And Kane's like, we could sneak in. So they sneak in, right? They get caught, but turns out the guy that catches them is pretty chill. He's actually, we also went to the same orphanage they did. What a coinky dink. And kind of gives them some hope of like, hey, maybe even though we're orphans, we can still like have a successful life. You know what I mean? So he gives them hope, right? They're having fun. And then they go pick up Vanya, and she's like, oh my God, how's your thing? And they're like, it's great, you know, I'll tell you all about it, right? So that's where we left off, right? So that's kind of the TLDR of it, right? Also, is my BGM too loud? Is it a good volume? Okay, it looks like it's good. So we are now opening part 5, okay? And the chapter opens with basically Vanya being like, you did what? Because the thing is like, yeah, they didn't get caught, but like they still could have gotten fucking arrested for illegally sneaking into not just the tournament grounds, but they went into like the barracks of people fighting and shit like that. They also like were handling weapons and shit, so they absolutely could have gotten their ass kicked. Amy soon to be the next James Patterson. Thank you. I'm very autistic and I'm very passionate, but I'm also stupid. So we're gonna kind of address the points where I have to rewrite them as they come up, right? Because I actually have a list from David, because David has been kind of a godsend in this process, because David and I have been dating, because I feel like, okay, when I gave David my writing, when we like first started dating, right, I actually stopped writing, I think almost like right after we were dating, because the guy that I was involved with before I met David told me my writing was shit, and that he just made me feel really bad about it. So I didn't write for like 10 years. This is my first time writing in 10 years, essentially. And it was you guys, it was my stream community that convinced me to start writing about my OCs instead of just mindlessly babbling about them while we play Skyrim. But that's the thing, is like when me and David first started dating, I'd be afraid to like I would have been afraid to show him my writing, because I'd be afraid he wouldn't be like honest, or he'd be a dick about it, right? Like I feel like there's a fine line between like constructive criticism and just being a fucking dick, right? And this guy before was just a fucking dick, right? The thing is with David is David does write. He's not writing a book or anything, but he has like over a decade experience DMing. So, like, he knows his shit, you know, when it comes to world building. For me, I really like creating characters, but I'm shitty at the world building aspect. Whereas for him, he's not great at creating characters, but he's really good at world building. So he's helped me with a lot of different issues. I had the same issue. Someone told me my animation sucks, so I didn't animate for years. That's the thing, is, like, I don't understand why people would be... Like, I feel like people don't realize how much their words can, like, affect someone. You know, like, you say something and that can stick with them for life, you know? It's crazy, right? So chapter open, we're just gonna read it out loud, right? I'm just gonna read to you for a little bit, okay? So that way, if there's any spelling things, I can catch them, right? So it's story time. Are you ready for story time? It's story time. Let me drink some water real quick, because I think I edited most of this part, but I want to double check, and maybe if I'm on stream, I'll catch things that maybe I didn't. You did what? Vanya exclaimed loudly, her voice echoing through her and Freya's room. Freya had never heard her be that loud before. I told you we shouldn't tell her that. Wait, hold on. I told you we shouldn't tell her that part. Should it be like shouldn't have? I told you we shouldn't have told her. No, I think that should be fine. I told you we shouldn't tell her that part, Kain huffed, slouching in Vanya's desk chair as Freya sat on top of the bed. Of her bed. Wait. On top. Yeah, I think that would make sense. It was amazing, though. It was fun, Freya laughed, somewhat brushing off Vanya's concerns. Besides, the guy that caught us, you got caught! Her volume grew even louder as Freya desperately tried to shush her. I feel like this can be... I feel like that can be, like... I don't know. I feel like this is fine, but there's just part of me that's like... Could I make that more, like... Well, how did I say that before? Exclaimed loudly. Her volume grew even louder. That's fine for now, I think. Well, don't say it that loudly, Freya whispered. It's fine. He made sure we got out of the arena without getting in trouble. He was supposed to be there, so since we were with him, that means we were also technically supposed to be there. I feel like this doesn't read well. He was supposed to be there, so since we were with him, that means we were also technically supposed to be there. I'm gonna just be there too. Yeah, and we're gonna do one of those moves. So that's like where the stress is. He was supposed to be there, so since we were with him, that means we were also technically supposed to be there too. Yeah, I'm actually gonna get rid of the word too. I think just like putting in italics there to say that word's emphasized makes it make a little bit more sense. Vanya frowned. Freya was right. Maybe not in her explanation, but that there was nothing to worry about. Her logic was sound, yet Vanya couldn't help but be nervous for the two. Part of it was nerves, but the other part of it was jealousy. Vanya knew that by spending as much time as she could at the War College, she was able to work towards her goal, earn an education, and use that education to get out of Eldor and find a way to pursue her real passion, studying the arcane arts. That is a run-on sentence. Let me see. Vanya knew by spending as much time as she was able to work towards her goal. Education. Let me just like divide this into two different sentences. She would earn an education and use that education to get out of Eldor. And we'll do that. Let me rewrite this actually. Finally being able to pursue the arcane arts. Yeah, I feel like it was just like too wordy. It just didn't need to be that excessive. She knew realistically that she was far behind everyone else at the college, and her first impression was rocky at best. Yeah, her first impression was rocky because when given the slightest amount of pushback, Freya started swearing at the fucking registrar lady. Like, she meant well, but Freya has no sense of like social skills because Freya, well, she was raised by adventurers her whole life. You know, she was constantly moving around. She was never really around other kids. So if she wants to tell someone to fuck off, she's gonna do it without really much of a second thought, right? And the thing with Vanya is Vanya, like, kind of has social skills, yet she's still the thing with Vanya is she's not a bad person. She just thinks she's better than everyone else. Does that make sense? Because since I just push away any empty criticisms. That's the thing, is there's gonna be some criticism where it's like it's constructive versus unconstructive. If you just tell me this is like, this blows, then it's like, okay, well, what's that supposed to mean? But if you're like, hey, well, like the way I said earlier, one of my friends was like, you say the word said a lot, right? Okay, I can take that, right? And that's what I literally would do, is I would control F and see how many times I said the word said. Perhaps it would sound better if you took away the also and put either to or as well at the end. Let me see. Means we were also technically, that we were... Let's see. Yeah, I think taking away the also would work. We're technically supposed to be there too. That works. That works. Let's see. Where was I? Yeah. She would earn an education and use that education to get out of Eldor, finally being able to pursue the arcane arts. She knew that realistically, she was far behind. We're gonna actually do just realistically. We can cut down on the word count a little bit. I'm gonna burp. Hold on. Okay. She was far behind everyone else at the college, and her first impression was rocky at best. She needed to prove herself and hopefully find a mentor somehow. She kind of already has. It's been very heavily hinted to who her mentor is gonna be. It's gonna be Professor Nerixie, which was the one elf guy that was like, yeah, you're chill, you're cool, you can hang out here. Fuck it, you know, that's gonna be your mentor. Let's see. However, the more time Vanya spent at the college, she knew that meant the more... Wait, what? What was bro going on about? It's me. I'm bro. However, the more time Vanya spent at the college, she knew that meant the more time Kain and Freya would be spending together.
Does that make sense? However, the more time Vanya spent at the college, she knew that meant... I feel like we could just cut that. However, the more time Vanya spent at the college, the more time Cain and Freya would be spending together without her? Maybe to, like, clarify that? Let me see. However, the more time Vanya spent at the college, the more time Cain and Freya would be spending together without her. I don't know. I'll come back to that later. Let me just highlight it so I know to, like, double check it. There you go. A boy that once made every day miserable for Vanya was now slouched back in her chair, leaning against her desk. Sure, Cain was kinder to her now, but she doubted his intentions were good. Vanya knew that if it weren't for Freya, nothing would have changed. The days would have passed the same way they always did, with Vanya getting a beating for whatever social misstep she had committed that day. Sure, she was grateful those days were behind her, but seeing him so comfortable in her living space was infuriating. It didn't help that he could potentially get the one friend Vanya had into trouble. To Vanya, Freya was kind at best, but naive at the worst. So that's the other thing, is Vanya, like, loves Freya, but she doesn't think Freya's as smart as she is. She kind of, like, infantilizes Freya to a certain degree. Which, again, like, Vanya's not a bad person. She just thinks she's the smartest person in the room, you know? Vanya, you alright? Cain asked, snapping her out of her thoughts. I don't think we need to say Vanya out of her thoughts. I think we can just say her. Loves her, doesn't respect her. Yes, exactly. And that's gonna come up later. Also, hi Blaze, welcome in. She shot him a wicked glare instinctively, causing Cain's eyes to widen. Does that make sense? Let's just do as Cain's eyes widen. As Cain's eyes widened. Yeah, that would be good, I think. No? Is that how you spell that word? Yeah. What are you looking at me like that for? He laughed nervously, trying to diffuse the sudden hostility. Vanya sighed. She didn't want to make things uncomfortable in front of Freya. Freya seemed so effortlessly happy, always smiling, always giggling and finding joy in the smallest of things. It appeared as if she was happier now than whenever she first arrived at the orphanage. So that's the thing, right? Is we get a lot of, like, in part 4, we get a lot of Freya's perspective on things, where one of the big things in part 4, there's a lot of flashback scenes in part 4, where Freya talks about how all she wants is stability, right? Because she's constantly moving places, she's constantly meeting new people, she just wants a consistent place to lay her head and to talk to people that are her age and not the same 4 people she's known her entire life, right? 'Cause she's like 16 now, right? And I think the flashback is when she's like 10 or something like that. And she might be a little bit older, maybe like 12 or 13, because they're 16 now, right? Because we haven't talked about when this is not the flashback where her parents die, right? We haven't gotten to that one yet, but this is the flashback where one of her parents' friends, their partners, presumably dies, right? I haven't gotten to if he actually does yet. That's kind of, well, he does die, they're all dead, but like if he dies in this scene, right? But this is a scene from basically where before, when Freya was younger, her parents they didn't want to like expose her to that much violence, so whenever they went and did mage killing shit, they would tell her, stay in the tent, do not leave the tent. And sometimes Freya obeyed them, sometimes she did not, right? So this flashback is basically her witnessing violence for the first time. So it's probably like when she's like 10 or 11, right? It's probably not super, you know, recent, right? But a lot of chapter 4 is her talking about her trauma, right? And also talking about how she, where is it? A scene with her mother, right, where she's like, hey, you need to pay attention, you need to obey what we say because we don't want you getting hurt. Look at what happened to our friend. You know what I mean? Yeah, do you remember what happened last week when we all came back to camp? So that's the big thing, is Freya is not just, like, happy, like, she is, but it's a coping mechanism, right? Like, it's weird, because, like, on one hand, Freya has all this trauma of losing all of her friends and family overnight, essentially, but also, on the other hand, she does finally have the stability that she craves. So even though she is very happy, very, you know, optimistic, right? It's not like she isn't going through her own shit either. And Vanya doesn't, like, the way this scene is written is I wanted to kind of seem like Vanya doesn't even consider that. You know what I mean? Yeah, here we go. It appears as if she was happier now than when she first arrived at the orphanage. There was that jealousy yet again. She loved Freya's bright and positive attitude, and it was something she wanted to have as well, but she couldn't begin to fathom how to let her guard down. So that's the big thing, is Vanya has a big problem with jealousy, right? So she's jealous of Freya because she's able to maintain this, like, positive disposition, you know? But also, the way this is written is, you know, she's so effortlessly happy. She's always smiling. Right? She's kind of almost annoyed by it to a certain degree as well, because she's like, why are you so happy? You know what I mean? So, anyway, I'm sorry. I just don't want either of you to get in trouble. I quite enjoyed our time going into the city, and I'd hate for it to be cut short due to both of you getting in trouble, she snapped, shooting Freya a glance as well. Freya looked down at her hands, still thinking about the way a sword felt between them. So that's one of the things they did when they snuck into the arena, is there was no one there, and Freya knows how to hold a sword, right? Like, when we get to the scene where it's the flashback scene of Freya watching her parents die, Freya does participate in battle with an actual whole-ass sword and armor, right? But now she's stuck in this fucking orphanage, and she has to play with, like, wooden swords and shit. And Cain wants to be a warrior, and so they have this whole scene where, in chapter 4, where Cain's, like, holding a sword incorrectly, swinging around, and Freya's like, hey, let me show you how to hold that correctly. Let me show you where to put your hands and how to do this safely so you don't cut your fucking arm off. But, yeah, this is also, like, kind of meant to be, like, moment of self-reflection. Like, you know, she's still thinking about, like, the past in a way. Right? She's still, like, the way, she hasn't felt an actual sword between her hands in, like, forever, you know? Let me see. Does this make sense? She snapped, shooting Freya a glance as well. Because the way I want it to be framed is, like, she looks at Cain, and then she looks at Freya, and then Freya's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble too. You know what I mean? Shooting Freya a glance as well. I think we'll just leave that the way it is for now. Freya looked down at her hands, still thinking about the way a sword felt between them. Today had been the most exciting day she had in a long time. But Vanya was right. The memories of her parents were still fresh, and they had gotten incredibly lucky. This was Freya's first chance at making any sort of decision for herself, to follow her own dreams. She had something she always yearned for now. She had friends, a consistent place to rest her head, and the freedom to do almost whatever she pleased. The last thing she wanted to do was jeopardize her and Cain's future, to have a chance to fight in the arena themselves one day, to join the Kingsguard, and to be someone that didn't have to hide away in a tent, right? So I guess I kind of read that incorrectly. Like, it's meant to be she wants to be important, right? And to be someone, right? That didn't have to hide away in a tent. Getting banned from going to the city, or worse, getting kicked out of the orphanage, wouldn't be doing them any favors, she sighed. Yeah, you're right. It's gonna be real hard to get into the arena if we aren't allowed to leave here, Freya said, looking back over to Cain. He nodded, almost as if he was admitting defeat. He knew Vanya was right, but he'd never say it. See, that's the thing, is Vanya's kind of a cunt, but she is usually right. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I hate that you make sense. So, I hate to bring the mood down, but trust me, I say it because I care about you. Vanya's... Why do I keep saying side? We're just gonna say Vanya looked back towards Freya as she offered... Yeah, there we go. Vanya looked back towards Freya as she offered a warm smile. Despite her selfishness, she did want Freya to succeed and be happy. So right now, like, Vanya... I don't know what I'm gonna do with Vanya in the long game, but right now she's meant to be kind of... Not like... I would say, like, neutral good. You know, like, she has good intentions, but it's not always... She's very self-serving. You know what I mean? Like, she's not a bad person, but the person that comes first for Vanya is Vanya, you know? So, hey, let's see. She did want Freya to succeed and be happy. Hey, what about me? Cain retorted, the chair that had been rocking back and forth now planted onto the ground. Vanya sighed. Let's actually change this to Vanya let out a sigh of annoyance. There we go. How many times do I say the word sigh? Let's look that one up. 11. That's not too bad, but also not great either. Let's see. We're gonna do synonyms for side. Let's see. exhale, gas, groan, howl, murmur. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna keep that tab on the back burner. I think that'll be good. Just keep that up there. Okay, let me take a sippy. Okay. Yeah, Kane kind of is where my Hugget personified. Not really. We actually get some really good Kane character development here. Vanya let out a sigh of annoyance. Freya cares about you, so by extension, so do I suppose. Don't push it, though. Kane smiled. Nice! Like, he's a shithead, but like, he's the worst. He's a shithead, but he's kind of lovable sometimes. He laughed, trying to give Vanya a warm smile. Perhaps he was truthfully trying to befriend... I say warm smile a lot. Trying to give Vanya, We can just get rid of that, actually. Perhaps he laughed. Perhaps he was truthfully trying to befriend her. Still, Vanya wasn't entirely convinced. Now, tell me about this man you met today. The one that got you out of trouble. Vanya smiled. Stop saying smiled, you dumb bitch. Sorry. This is what goes through my head when I'm editing, by the way. See, because I don't want to say said. Vanya, okay, now we're doing this again. Synonyms for smiled. Let me see. Maybe like chuckled, grin, smirk. Yeah, that would be good. Because I want it to be like she's like you know, like a content smile. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Here it is. We'll say grin. Yeah, Vanya grins, leaning back onto her bed and crossing her arms. Oh, he was great! Freya lit up with excitement. He's not one of the representatives from Balria, that's the capital city I mentioned earlier, but he's from here. He's from the city? Vanya asked. He even lived here, at Daybreak, Kane chimed in. Daybreak's the name of the orphanage they're at. Well, I suppose it's nice to know that one can make a... Wait, hold on. What the fuck did I say? Well, I suppose it's nice to know one can make a life for themselves after living in this dreadful place. I didn't notice it until I got to the college, but everything around here feels so dark and dreary. You thought the college wasn't dark and dreary? Kane asked, raising an eyebrow. Well, perhaps it was dark, but in a way that was comforting. It was cozy, reading and studying by candlelight. And it was quiet, too. Here it's just dark, loud, and... She paused to think of another word. Confining. At the college, you can walk outside, sit in the gardens, and listen to the sounds of the birds and busy streets. Every room and hall is different. Here, all you hear is the younger ones screaming and crying. Doesn't make reading easy, that's for sure. She shrugged. I think that should be fine. Vanya's the type of bitch that plays Stardew Valley while listening to true crime videos. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's half the reason Kane and I spend so much time outside. Sure, the scenery isn't great, but the hustle and bustle of the valley is something I'll take over kids screaming any day. Freya glanced out the window for a moment. During the day, there'd be much more background noise coming through the window. After sunset was nearly the only time it was quiet. Well, we don't need the word nearly. After sunset was the only time it was quiet. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. He's from Balria, but he's currently working as a mercenary in Lachlan. I like to just like kind of subtly sprinkle in world building. I do have like I do have a map, like I said. So for context, right, this is I have to be careful because I don't want to accidentally move anything on the map. Also, I had someone ask this in the comment section of the VOD for the last lore stream. This was made in Wonderdraft. It's just, I didn't know it was made in Wonderdraft. I said, hey, David, can you make me a map? And I scribbled a bunch of stuff in MS Paint. And he was like, sure. And then he gave me this. And I didn't think to ask what software he made it in. So he made it in Wonderdraft. And I'm adding all these labels in through Canva because I'm a basic bitch and that's what I use. And then I'll probably send him a draft back so he can add the labels in and make it look nice. But for geographical context, Balria is here. Right, so you can kind of see, like, Balria is the capital city. It's got good, like, port access. But also, like, there's going to be a lot of, like, roads and shit that go through here, right? There's just a part of me that's like, should Balria be over here? Because that's even, like, better port access. I don't know. I don't know if it really matters right now. That's, like, a lot of my world building has been we get there when we get there. You know, like if I want to write about it, I'll write about it. But I kind of just address things as they come up, you know. So you'll see a lot of these dots are still unfilled, you know. But Lachlan is all the way over there. So bro traversed. Bro was traveling a long way to get from Lachlan to Balria for the tournament. But anyway, Lachlan, the city in the Gallenfell Mountains. Yeah, there's another bit of woo mountain range. So from the city in the Gallenfell Mountains, Vanya asks. Yeah, that's the one. He lives there, and he was, well, I just really need to say that. Maybe, like, he lives there now, because she said that he was from the orphanage, so I'm gonna add now. Best way to world build for a story, make it as you need it. That's the thing is, like, I have, like, low-key, when I was writing the description in the Discord, I wanted to write, like, a little intro for me and David's character for our Legacy of the Dragon playthrough, where, which is starting tomorrow, where David is going to play Legacy of the Dragonborn correctly and roast me, and I'm just gonna be there to be pretty. But I started writing like lore for that character because that character is also one of my OCs. But then I let me show you actually. Hold on, let me pull up the bit. So like let me just screen share Discord real quick. Hold on. Let me do that. So like this is the character for me and David's Legacy of the Dragonborn playthrough. Her name is Faldra Volrad. She's a baddie and I love her. And I started, you can see, I started writing a paragraph, and then as soon as I got to born and raised, I was like, wait, wait a minute. So basically, her backstory is just this TikTok. Oh wait, no, there's no fucking desktop audio, hold on. Yeah, this is just her backstory.
I've been fired. I've been arrested. My home has been raided. I've caught a drug charge. I've been put on the sex offender registry. I've been swatted. And I've killed myself.
Like, I literally started writing her backstory and then saw that TikTok. I was like, you know what? This is her backstory, essentially. Like, yes, but no. Like, kind of, but... Like, not, but kind of. Like... But, oh my god, I need more water. A bitch be dehydrated. It's already been almost an hour. Jesus Christ. What page are we on? 3! God damn it. We're in for the long haul. We're really in for the long haul tonight. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. He's currently working as a mercenary in Lachlan. Lachlan, the city in the Gallenfell Mountains, Vanya asked. Yeah, that's the one. He lives there now, and he was sent as one of their representatives for the games. I'm gonna just say for the tournament to keep the language consistent. I think he felt bad for us. He gave us some gold so we could come. Okay, this is like a minor thing where David was like, what the fuck is your economy, by the way? Like, and that's, oh, this is one of the things I hate about world building, where it's like, I want to write about characters, I want to write about battles, and then David hits me with, how do taxes work? And I'm like, shut up! Shut up, I hate you! I don't want to talk about taxes!
It's a valid question!
It is a valid question, and I hate that it's a valid question, because I don't want to answer it. But, literally, I need to figure out how the economy works, because he was like, what are you basing your economy off of? And I was like, I don't know. Dungeons and Dragons? And he was like, that's not, no. So I originally was gonna say, not suggest edits, just edit. Where we go, editing, here we go. Figure out economy later, Lamau. Okay, so let me see. Okay. Okay, he gave us some goals so we could come watch him in the games. He gave us plenty to, we don't need the word, give us some gold, I guess that works. He gave us some gold so we could come watch him in the games. He gave us plenty to get in. I'm gonna say just we have plenty to get in. So you could, okay. He gave us some gold so we could come watch him in the games. We have plenty to get in, so you could come watch them with us too if you wanted, Vanya. Literally that would only matter if either of you expected to actually have someone play through this world. See, that's the thing, is like, it is primarily meant to be a book, but also like, and it could be really cool as a tabletop RPG setting. Like it's gonna be a book primarily, But like, what if it was a tabletop RPG setting? You know, like. But yeah, so basically Freya's like, hi, you can come watch the tournament with us. Ooh. Vanya thought over for a second. Vanya thought over. She thinking. Let me see. The idea of watching people hit each other for hours on end did not sound entertaining. It would probably last for hours. She could get a lot of reading done in the time of one match. There were infinitely better ways to spend her time. Still, it would be a good time for her to spend time with Freya and Kane. I don't like that. I don't like the way I wrote that. What is girl going on about? It would be a good time. It would be a good time for her to spend time with Freya and Kane. However, still, it would be, let's just say, an opportunity. There we go. Yeah! I love that I said that, and then as soon as I typed it, I saw Blaze's chat message. Our brains connected. Okay, let me see. It would mean. There we go. It would mean. She still didn't trust him, but she knew spending more time with him would. Wait. She knew spending more time with him would make Freya happy. Freya's eyes lit up as she extended the invitation. I feel like this sentence. I feel like we need to put. We can put this here. Freya's eyes lit up as she extended the invitation. She still seemed hopeful the two could find common ground somehow. Make that a period. And then, yeah, she still didn't trust him, but she knew spending more time with him would make Freya happy. Even though, we'll do this. Even though the tournament seemed unappealing, she would go for her friend. Freya had done so much for her, the least she could do is go with her to something she enjoyed. The thing is Freya hasn't really actually, like... Vanya hasn't done that much for Freya, but Freya's done a lot for Vanya. Like, to Freya sees Vanya just being her friend as, like, the ultimate sacrifice. Which is really fucked up, actually. All these bitches have trauma, but, you know, it happens. She nodded her head. I'll tag along. I may bring a book or two with me, but I liked going to the city all together today. It was fun. Maybe I'll get to meet this man that got you out of trouble. Does that make sense? Let me read that again. She nodded her head. I'll tag along. I may bring a book with me, but I liked going to the city all together today. It was fun. Maybe I'll get to meet this man that got you out of trouble. Maybe that should be fine, but either way, there should be a quotation mark here. Freya let out a squeal. Thank you, Vanya! I promise we'll all have a good time. I know it's not your normal thing. Let's make this a sentence. I promise we'll have a good time. I know it's not your normal thing, but it'll be fun to go together. I said this twice. Let's just do that. We don't need her name again. She was truthfully shocked that Vanya said yes, but was overjoyed nonetheless. Vanya... Wait, who is she in this context? She let out a content sigh. Seriously, I'm really glad you're joining us, though, Vanya. I appreciate it. I guess that'll be Freya, but we don't need to do this twice, because then we have Freya yawning. There we go. Okay. My brain is braining. Hold on. Seriously, I'm really glad you're joining us, though, Vanya. Let's just change the dialogue altogether. Actually, maybe we don't need that at all, because she already just said thank you. It'll be fun to go together. Let's just get rid of this. I don't think we need it. Freya yawned, leaning back onto her bed. Kane, I think I'm gonna get some sleep. Today was a long day. I'll see you tomorrow after breakfast, yeah? Freya asked, looking over him before she started to pull the blankets over her, trying to signal it was time for him to go. She's like when you have friends over and you just start like cleaning up and everything, but your friends are still there. That's Freya right now. Sounds good, Frey. Well, Freya, Vanya, I'll see you both tomorrow probably, Kane said as he stood up. See you tomorrow. He doesn't need to. I'll see you just, I feel like that's repetitive. Freya, Vanya, I'll see you both tomorrow. Kane said as he stood up. He stood up, getting ready to leave. That's fine. Sounds good, Frey. Well, Freya, Vanya, well, we don't need to have him say their names, actually, because he says Frey's nickname. Well, okay, let me read this out loud from the beginning. Sounds good, Frey. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow, Kane said as he stood up, getting ready to leave. See ya, Freya mumbled, her eyes nearly already closed. Or, we don't need the word nearly there, that's excessive. It didn't take long for her to fall asleep after the day she had. Kane was hardly out the door when Freya do I need to say she or Freya here? Because I feel like it's pretty clear that it's Freya that's sleeping, but Kane was hardly out the door when she started snoring. Vanya took this as her chance to confront Kane, to figure out what his true intentions were. Before the door closed, Vanya slipped through to follow him. I need to speak with you, Vanya whispered. We don't need to... This is probably obvious. She whispered, careful not to disturb Freya while she glared at Kane, not shying away from eye contact. Her glare was intense, but not as scornful as before. We're gonna change this to not as scornful as before. There we go. This is where it starts getting juicy, okay? His eyes widened, startled at how fast she had appeared. Sure. We're just gonna change this to an ellipses, actually. Let's go out into the hallway then? He hesitated before walking back. Vanya followed him outside the... hold on. Tenses? Hi, Professor! Welcome in, gamer. We are editing and info dumping about my characters. You came in at a good time. We're about to get some of that sweet, sexy character development. But first, I need to figure out the difference between past and present tense. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let's go out into the hallway then. He hesitated before walking back. Walking back to his room. Vanya following him. Why did I say outside? They're still inside the orphanage. Vanya following him inside and shutting... Wait, what? No, he says, Wait, hold on. I got fucked up here. You can tell right here that I stopped writing and then started writing again, but did not read whatever the fuck I wrote beforehand. Because this makes any sense. We're gonna just get rid of that. Okay, let's go out into the hallway then. In your room. I don't want to wake Freya, and I don't want to have to worry about keeping my voice down. Her voice slightly... Good job, Evie. Good job, Evie. Her voice was slightly elevated from before. That sounds stupid. Like, I know that's grammatically correct, but it just kind of sounds stupid, so I'm gonna rewrite that. I find that I often lose track of what tense I'm in. I start writing in present. Yeah, I feel like it's because, like, it doesn't help that the last chapter I wrote had a ton of flashback scenes, so I think that, like, fucked with my brain. How long is the story gonna be? Let's, Hi, JK. Okay, so, to put in perspective, this is Act 1, Chapter 5. The first 4 chapters have been released, which if you type !book, you can read them. But our outline, everything that's crossed out in the outline has been written. Everything that's not in the outline is what we still have to go. Spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. That's... that's where we're at. So, and again, I'm retconning a lot of this, and again, we're gonna talk about it when I get there, because the part that made me be like, oh, I need to retcon this hasn't come up yet, but, when's Act 1 gonna be over? I have no fucking clue. Ideally in the next 2 chapters, because the thing is I really want to write the intermission, because the intermission, right, the whole reason I have it set in the act structure is, like, Vanya and Freya are the main 2, but Severin and Jasper are important as well, so my idea is by making an intermission, it's the idea that it, like, happens within the same, time period as when Act 1 is happening. But, like, the story with Jasper and Severin, like, I love Jasper and Severin are both very important characters in Act 3, 2 and 3, I think. Wait, no, I think it is Act 3. So maybe I should put the intermission, I feel like maybe the intermission should honestly go after Act 3, because if we're looking at the outline, this is not where shit hits the fan yet. Act 2, well, we're not gonna read all of it, but Act 2 literally ends with Freya is arrested. So I feel like having the intermission after that would be good. Because then Act 3 is when Severin is actually introduced. I don't know when the fuck Jasper is introduced. Jasper isn't even introduced till Act 4. So, like, Jasper... So, yeah, I think we're gonna put Intermission 1 at the end of Act 2, I think. I feel like that makes more sense. And again, there's still some shit I'm retconning with how Act 1 is written. And I'm probably gonna retcon even more as I go, because sometimes I think I have good ideas, and then I say them out loud, and I'm like, wow, that's really fucking stupid. Hi, Volsper! Welcome in, gamer. Gonna go Wheel of Time and have 15 books? I don't know, man. It's probably gonna be like... I don't know. It's probably gonna be more than 1, less than 7. More than 1, less than 7. Do bears follow Severin like in Skyrim? No, because in the Viseron lore, he's strictly a plant druid. However, he does still do fun shit with spawning vines and thorns everywhere. So you get some, you lose some. What's been your hardest challenge with writing? Honestly, being consistent. So kind of like what I mentioned before, I have really severe ADHD. Like, not in the like, hee I forget my keys, hee. Like, in the sense that if I'm not taking my medication, I will leave the door unlocked, I will leave the door to my apartment open, I will leave the oven on. Like, to the point where it's like dangerous for me to not have my medication. Like, I can't drive if I don't have my medication. So a lot of times it's just like either staying focused with writing or sometimes even just starting, because like, okay, I don't know if this is just me, but I like to do this thing where I put my AirPods in and I have playlists for all my characters, and then I just wander around for like 30 minutes and visualize random scenes in my head, and then I don't write them. So I think my problem right now, like overall problem, I would say, is staying focused and being motivated and consistent, right? Like finding the time to do it. Current problem is I want to write, I'll be honest, the stuff I'm most excited to write about is Act 2, Act 3. That's what I'm really looking forward to. And it's not that I'm not enjoying writing Act 1. Like, I have to set up the story, but it's also like, I love Severin so much. I love Severin and Vanya's relationship so much. They're so fucking, like, what's the meme? Hold on, I need to find this meme, because it's literally them. Where is it? Here, this is it. Okay, here it is. This is literally, like, let me do this. Hold on, this is literally Vanya and Severin's relationship. Like, Vanya's just cunty, hot woman, and Severin's just like, yes, honey. But then Vanya tries to do a war crime, and he's like, no, honey. Hi, Celeste! Welcome in, gamer. I do the same thing with writing and end up just visualizing everything in my head, then writing it out. Listen, if the stories in my head were like put into like movies, I'd have a fucking Emmy by now. Looking forward to future. Yeah, I'm stuck on a part that's not as fun to write. I just want to get to the exciting parts. See, that's the thing, is like the advice I'm given a lot of the time is, oh, just write that anyway. But it's like, I can't. You know, like with world building stuff, like there's still, like that goes back to the other thing, is like with world building, it's like, I don't know. There's shit, I don't know. And we'll probably open my Obsidian in a little bit. My Obsidian's a hot mess. Like, it's not, it's bad, but it gets the job done, you know? Yeah, because I won't know what leads up to that part. What if there's something else that happens that I decide to do, but that I didn't decide originally? But, yeah, some of the scenes I'm most excited to write are Vanya and Severin getting together, because they're really cute, because Vanya's kind of a stuck-up bitch, and Severin is literally the nicest man in the world, and basically that's like a whole thing about how she feels like she has to be in control all the time, and then she finally like lets go of control. And then also Freya and Jasper. Freya fucking hates Jasper the first time she meets him. If you don't know, Because the Severin and Jasper are characters from my Skyrim playthroughs. So if you haven't watched my Skyrim playthroughs, you may not know who they are, because they were like a while ago. But Severin, TLDR, wholesome cinnamon roll plant druid. Jasper is his brother, who is basically fuck machine 6000 himbo. Yeah, like, I think that's done. I mean, if you watch my Skyrim streams, do you agree? Does that make sense? But, like, that's the thing, is, like, I want to write those scenes, but also Freya and Jasper have a really fun friendship, in the sense that Freya meets him and fucking despises him immediately. So they have this, like, enemy to friends. It doesn't go to enemies to lovers. In fact, there is going to be a scene where Jasper flirts with her, and she promptly punches him in the face, and he's like, you know what? I deserve that. Jasper's going to end up sleeping with one of my characters who, well, no, we have talked about it yet. Jasper and Faldra end up getting together at one point. But the one thing I didn't mention when I showed you guys Faldra earlier is Faldra's, like, in her, like, 40s, and Jasper's, like, in his mid-20s. So he's going for the MILF. But also, canonically, they get together, but it was so awkward, they never speak of it again. So, there's gonna be, like, there's only, like, one relationship in my book, but it's not, like, I hope people don't latch on to it, because even though even though Severin and Vanya are really cute, it's not a healthy relationship. It's not good. But anyway, enough about the future. Back to the present. What page are we on? 4! Let's go! Okay, let me drink more water. I'm having so much fun right now, by the way. Okay, let's see. I know it takes longer to edit this way, but it's more fun. How long have you been working on this book? Let me see. When did I start writing part 1? I've had it planned in my brain for, like, years. Like, some of these characters I've had since, like, high school, middle school even, and they've just kind of evolved since then. But I actually started writing, well, let's see, file information, details. Created October 25th, 2023. So almost a year. In a year, I've written 5 chapters. Aw. I mean, I feel really good about them, though, so I'd rather quality over quantity, you know? Do you do NaNoWriMo? I want to do NaNoWriMo, but there's part of me that's like, do I have the chutzpah for it? Do I have the cojones for NaNoWriMo? Because every time I've heard about NaNoWriMo, like, it sounds kind of intense. Like, I don't know if I could keep up with it. If I did do NaNoWriMo, I'd probably, like, I don't know, we could do it as a stream thing, maybe. Like, that could be a fun stream challenge, is, like, do it together on stream, maybe? I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Because it could be a good idea, but I don't know. I need to motivate myself to do it. And if I'm streaming, I know I'm gonna do it, you know? Okay. Focus, EB. Focus, EB. Okay. Alright. In your room. I don't want to wake Freya, and I don't want to have to worry about keeping my voice down. Do we need this sentence? Because it does make sense for her voice to be louder if they're still in the hallway. Did it say that she's whispering? Yeah, we'll just do that. Kane's eyes widened. Yeah, sure. We can go to my room. That's fine. Yeah, Kane is also just like, Vanya, what the fuck is your deal? Like, I'm trying to write this as he's just like, and I don't know how to do, I don't know if that's like, okay, you know? We're just gonna make it not as repetitive, I think. Just, yeah. But bro is like, genuinely, bro is bamboozled, okay? Kane stuttered before leading Vanya back to his room. Vanya's directness seemed to have started, what the fuck that doesn't make any sense. We're just gonna cut that and do that. He couldn't begin to guess what she wanted. Kane was lucky to not have a roommate anymore, as his old roommate had aged out of the orphanage a month ago, and no one new had come in quite yet. I just wanted an explanation for why Kane has a room to himself in an orphanage. He held the door open for Vanya as she walked past him. He shut the door quietly, doing his best to make sure it didn't make any noise. However, that didn't stop the floor from creaking as he shifted his weight across the floorboards. To Vanya's surprise, the room was tidy. Even his bed was made. Perhaps he was a better influence on Freya than she originally thought. The whole point here is, like, I wanted to see, like, Vanya literally sees Kane as, like, the devil incarnate. So it's, like, the way I wrote this sentence to make it seem like she's, like, baffled he has good qualities. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I want that to come across. And I hope it is, but if it's not, let me know. I feel like I can maybe, like, elaborate on that a little bit more. The floors were clean. There was no dust to be found. And even his bed was made. Yeah, there we go. Like, she's just like, wow, this guy's not a fucking degenerate. Huh? Like, okay, anyway. Vanya stood in the middle of the room with her arms crossed. Kane paced around the room nervously. So, what do you want to talk about? I want to know what your intentions are. Tell me, honestly, if Freya had never shown up here, would things have changed between us? Would we be going out into the city as friends? I want to add that there. Oh, wait, no, it says it in the thing here. Okay, yeah. Would we be going out into the city? Going to festivals and games like we're friends? Would you no longer take any chance to kick me when I'm already down? Vanya realized her voice was getting louder, and she knew it was late. She didn't want to attract any attention to them. Let's add the word any right there. If she was caught outside of her room this late, she'd be the one getting in trouble. Let's do one of these moves. Let me reread that, because that's like... I low-key really like this dialogue. Like, there's still things I'm gonna fix, but, I like this dialogue a lot, and we're gonna get into why. I want to know what your intentions are. Tell me, honestly, if Freya had never shown up here, would things have changed between us? Let's put a comma right here. Things have changed between us. Will we be going out into the city? Going to festivals and games like we're friends? Would you no longer be... Would you... Like, this sentence right here is what fucks me up. Like, this could be just rephrased. Would you... Would you have stopped, beating me mercilessly any time I dared to annoy you? Does that make sense? Would you have stopped beating me mercilessly any time I dared to maybe cross you? Like, I feel like that would be better. There we go. Vanya realized her voice was getting louder, and she knew it was late. She didn't want to... Let's, like, add... Okay, where's my words for said? Where's my words for said? Here we go. Anger. Maybe she fumed? She seethed? I feel like she seethed would be good. Yeah. Let's do that one. She seethed. Vanya realized her voice was getting louder, and she knew it was late. She didn't want to attract any attention to them. If she was caught outside of her room this late, she'd be the one getting in trouble. Yeah, I think that should be fine. She took a breath to calm herself down. I need to know. Just please, be honest with me. What are you playing at? Vanya pleaded, giving him a look of sincerity. Kane stuttered, stopping for a moment to collect his thoughts. You want honesty? Vanya nodded her head. He sighed, looking defeated. I don't think anything would have changed. There, I said it. That's what you want to hear, right? Kane spat, a look of frustration painting his face. That's all I need to know. Thank you. You know what? I'm not done, Vanya. I'm having a lot of fun, like, voice acting. I'm not voice acting, but, like, I'm having a lot of fun being dramatic as I read this, by the way. He had finally stopped pacing around the room. If it weren't for Freya, I'd still be beating the shit out of you every day. I know it sounds awful, and it is. I realize that now. Took you long enough. Is that out of character? Like, she's meant to be very, like, proper, very, like, you know. I feel like she wouldn't say took, like, we're not gonna say interjected. I'm gonna say, like, what's another word for scoffed? Like, I don't want to say snarled, because I feel like that sounds like too much. Sneer. Let's do that one. Yeah, Vanya sneered. There we go, yeah. I realize that now. Took you long enough, Vanya sneered. Will you please let me finish? He exclaimed, his frustration growing as he remembered why he initially despised Vanya in the first place. Gods, you think you know everything. I think she's earned being a bitch to her former bully. She absolutely has. And, like, here's the thing I'm trying to portray with this scene is both of them kind of suck. Kane sucks more, but Vanya's not entirely innocent here, because the way Freya sees Vanya is just a victim, right? And that's kind of how Vanya sees herself, but we're gonna get into some things that were not revealed in chapter 1. Will you please let me finish? He exclaimed, his frustration growing as he remembered why he initially despised Vanya in the first place. Gods, you think you know everything, he whispered under his breath before speaking up again. You want to know why everyone hated you before Freya came along? Why I hated you? You have the floor. Vanya motioned, still keeping her... She's so cunty, I'm sorry. She's so fucking cunty. You have the floor, Vanya motioned, still keeping her arms crossed and holding her head up high. Because you were so fucking insufferable. You act as if all of us are beneath you, as if we're all too stupid to understand how smart you are, whatever bullshit you tell yourself. You've been here longer than most of us, and yet you act like you're too good to get your hands dirty. That's true. Vanya was here, like, since birth. Like, she just got dropped off here, right? But, like, he kind of, like, damn. Okay. Hi Vader, welcome in. Thank you, I appreciate that. I really hope I can get traditionally published. I want to be in Barnes and Noble. It's still a far ways away, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, there we go. She sounds like a powerful woman, and I love it. She's a boss babe. She is the hashtag gatekeep girl boss. She's the moment. She's cunt of a welcome in notice. His words were harsh, but as Vanya watched him speak, she noticed he couldn't look her in the eyes, right? So he's not exactly like lying, but also I bullied you because you gave me inferiority complex. Yes, that's what I'm going for. But like he's calling her out, but he's still kind of cowardly, you know? For the first time, here's where it gets good though, because Vanya's whole thing has always been, I am above violence. I am above you because I will not like sink to your level, you know, of lashing out at you. But now she's like, for the first time, Vanya wanted nothing more than to hit him. For the first time, she did not feel as if she was above violence. She knew it was a stupid idea. She knew he could overpower her the same way he had time and time again. I may come off as rude or stiff, but that gave you no right to hit me, to beat me day in and day out, she retorted. And maybe I wouldn't have if you just shut your damn mouth. Even when I hit you, you kept going, calling me stupid, an idiot, an imbecile. That's why I hated you, is no matter how much I hurt you, you never let up, he shouted. I ate with that. Like, I'm sorry, I feel like I ate with that. I don't know why. I'm really proud of this dialogue. I hope it's, like, actually good, and I'm not just, like, I don't know, like, stroking my own cock, but, like, I feel like I ate with that. He let out a deep breath. At this point, Kane was red in the face, breathing heavily as he tried to calm himself down. He let out a deep breath, regaining his composure. You were always too stubborn to get up. And when Freya got here, she saw you as a victim. And that pissed me off even more. He finally looked up at her. So tormenting me, making my life a living hell, that doesn't make me a victim? Vanya scoffed. If that doesn't make me a victim, then I don't know what does. She struggled to keep her voice. Yeah, they're like shouting now. I feel like I don't need, I don't know if I need that sentence. Thank you, Letters. I used to be not great at writing dialogue, so I'm like, I'm really happy. If that's something that I don't know what does. She's struggling, because they're like, he's already. Is that fine? I don't know. We'll leave it for now. Maybe I'm not innocent, but I'm. There we go. Yeah. Wait, hold on. This sentence, yeah. Maybe I'm not innocent, but I'm sure as shit know that you aren't. That doesn't make any sense grammatically. Hold on. But I know damn well you aren't. We're gonna do that one. But I know damn well you aren't. I think he said it is. Yeah. Maybe I'm not innocent, but I know damn well you aren't, he barked. He sighed as he leaned against the wall, now facing Vanya. I'll tell you this. I hate saying this. I really, really do. So know that I'm doing... This is a run-on sentence. I'm like putting my whole pussy into reading this. And it's like, oh, we need a comma. I hate saying this. I really, really do. Yeah, okay. I'll tell you this. I hate saying this. I really, really do. So know that I'm doing this because you wanted honesty. You can't get pissed at me for this. I feel like we can move that period. I really, really do. I'm gonna do this. Let me see. I'll tell you this. I hate saying this. I really, really do. Know that I'm doing this because you wanted honesty. And you can't get pissed at me for that. We're gonna change it to that. And you can't get pissed at me for that. Slay. Okay. Let's see. I can't guarantee that, but go on. She motioned. Didn't I say that already? She motioned for him to continue. We can just cut that, honestly. Like, it's obvious that Vanya's the one talking. Reading out loud is the best way to edit, TBH. Oh, yeah, I do it all. I feel like that's why I can't go edit in coffee shops. Like, sometimes I want to be that girl that's, like, in a coffee shop with her laptop writing. But, like, this is my writing process. Hi. It's just me screaming in the middle of a Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, but anyway. I can't guarantee that, but go on. If it weren't for Freya, I wouldn't have ever realized that you're a person. Vanya immediately raised an eyebrow. Let me rephrase that. If it weren't for Freya, let me actually change this to Flash. If it weren't for Freya, I wouldn't have understood why you're the way you are. I get it now. He seemed apologetic, but that's not what that word means. He seemed... Don't apologetic and remorseful mean the same thing? Am I stupid? I might have the stupid. We're gonna see. We're just gonna cut that. Oh, fuck. Wrong button. Yeah, we're gonna just cut this. It almost looked like he pitied her. I'm not sure what there is to get. You're weak. I know it sounds shitty, but let's be honest, Vanya. It's the truth. We both saw how you almost fainted at the market the other day. So I was editing this earlier, and I'm like, should I, like, give other, like, should he be listing things? Like, examples of why she's weak? Or is that, like, enough? Like, I feel like I should be listing things. Like, we both, here. We both know how you never fight back. How you fall over at the smallest thing. And we both saw how you almost fainted at the market the other day. Let me read that, like, in character. You're weak. I know it sounds shitty, but let's be honest, Vanya. It's the truth. We both know how you never fight back. How you fall over at the smallest thing. And we both saw how you almost fainted at the market the other day. Because, Vanya's fucking anemic. I think that works. Yeah. I kind of like that better, honestly. I like, bro is yapping, but, like, we're gonna let him yap, you know? I don't think this is a very good start, Vanya trailed off, but that's just it. I'm also weak. I know I'm weak. You'll never hear me admit that to anyone else. Not the people I sit with, not Freya, no one. Your shield is made with clever words and quips. You make people feel like dirt as a means to protect yourself. My shield isn't even a shield, really. If I want someone to shut up, I just hit him, he shrugged, looking defeated. For the first time, Cain looked ashamed, embarrassed even. We're gonna add that. Just add a little spice there. Yeah. That's not how you spell the word embarrassed. I feel like we can add on to this, Loki. I'm drinking more water, but I'm thinking... I just hit them. I don't know. I'm wondering, is it more impactful to, like, have it just be like that? Like, I just hit him. You know? Like, I don't know. We're gonna highlight that. 'Cause I don't know. We'll come back to that. Okay, now we're cooking, by the way. Now we're on page 7. Vanya took a moment to think. It didn't excuse Cain's actions. Not by a long shot. But she knew there were times where her words were much harsher than she meant them to be. She knew that Cain was right. There were times where she... Let me italicize this. There were times where she overstepped. She knew that her intelligence was her only tool, and she knew how to wield it as a weapon. Cain's weapon of choice was much more literal. However, she still, Well, no, we'll keep that as still. Still, she didn't think she deserved all the torment he brought upon her. He looked back at her. Listen, you don't have to give a damn about a word I say, but you wanted honesty, and there, you have it. I'm weak. You threatened me, and my weakness won. If it weren't for Freya, it'd still be winning. You don't have to like me, and I appreciate you just tolerating me around her. But that's it. That's the truth. He shrugged, clapping his hands together. Out of all the outcomes Vanya predicted, this one wasn't on her list. Would she forgive Cain of everything? No, absolutely not. Did she even agree with everything he said? Certainly not. However, she knew it took guts to admit that he was wrong, and to admit it came from a place of weakness. She could respect that, right? Because that's the thing, is Vanya's not evil. You know, like, she's like, okay, respect, you know. Cain, thank you. Thank you for your honesty, Vanya replied, her tone calmer than before. Her tone, let's do her tone had calmed, like, I feel like it, like, had calmed down. Well, Modified. Let's just that. Maybe we'll have more later. I don't know. There were still questions Vanya had, but now was not the time to ask them, and she wasn't even sure if Kane would have the answers. I look forward to watching the tournament with you later this week. She rushed out of the room, leaving no time for Kane to interject before quietly shutting the door behind her. I feel like, though, what I'm trying to portray with this is she's like, she doesn't know how to respond, and she's embarrassed she doesn't know how to respond, so she's just leaving. Like, that's how this is trying to come across, but I'm worried it sounds like I'm just rushing the pacing rather than, like, she's embarrassed and is leaving, you know? Like, maybe, like, just say something, she had no reason to stay if she had nothing else to say. Wait, that could be a song lyric. She had no reason to stay if she had nothing else to say. I don't like how that rhymes, that's back to back. She had no reason to stay there if she had nothing else to say. I don't know why, but just adding that extra word makes it feel less campy. Yeah, okay. New paragraph. She looked around as she entered the hallway. No one was around. The only sound audible throughout the hall were the crickets chirping outside. Wait. The only sound audible throughout the hall was the... Is it was or were? God damn it. The only sound audible throughout the hall was the crickets chirping outside. She made her way back to her room and fell onto her bed. A weight was off her shoulders, but the conversation was exhausting. She looked over to Freya and saw that she was still fast asleep. It wasn't hard to figure out, as the girl snored rather loudly, but Vanya was able to drown it out. We're gonna change it to Vanya was used to drowning it out. Because they've been living together for a while now. Used to drowning it out. The candle on her desk was still lit. It's lit, sorry. The candle on her desk was still lit. Its flames illuminating the room. We don't need still. We're using the word still too much there. Its flames illuminating the room. Bonnie got up, sitting back down at her desk and opening up one of the history books she had acquired at the War College. This is where I kind of start cringing at myself. Like, everything, like this first 7 pages, I'm really happy with, I'm really proud of. Once we get past here, this is where I start to cringe at myself, because this is where I start trying to integrate world building, and then I don't know if I did a good job. You know, I don't feel great about it, so we'll see what happens. This book, as well as the others she took home, was heavy, filled with hundreds of pages. Next time, she'd ask Freya to help her carry them. Her arms were still sore from the walk home. She flipped through the pages, looking for any information on this tournament that seemingly had the city of Balria in a chokehold. Yeah, that makes sense. It didn't take her too long to find an entry on the sacred tradition. So, okay, originally when I wrote this, I had a date. Like, I tried to make up, like, a fake month and a fake year, and I thought it sounded really stupid. So I just have this comment that says, I need to figure out a date system. I fucking hate it here. I hate world building. I need the world build, but we could do a one stream that is literally just me figuring out the economy and the dates and all that shit. Like, we could literally do a stream that's just me doing tedious world building stuff, because I just Hi Stevie! I have seen the Brain Rot Skyrim mod. It's so fucking funny. I have a little bit of Brain Rot in my Skyrim. I changed the speech skill to Riz, but I don't have it to that level, but I have seen that. It looks very, very silly. We're doing some editing, and this is where everything else was good, but this is where I feel like I start to get cringe. Okay, so this, I don't remember how much I've dumped on it, on the lore so far. At the height of the Eldian Empire, Eldor wanted to ensure its army couldn't be rivaled, only taking in the best of the best to lead its command. Not commands, I feel like it just commands? Only taking in the best of the best to lead its command. Just rename the IRL ones? See, that's what I was thinking about doing. My problem with naming shit is I'm really bad at naming shit, okay? So, like, my thing is, I just feel like all my names for towns and cities are stupid. And I don't know. Anytime I come up with a name on my own, I feel like it's cringe, you know? So, honestly, it's probably not, and I probably just need to get over myself, but I don't know. Okay, anyway. Only taking the best of the best to Lead's command. The King's Tournament was the solution to this issue, helping the Eldian army find talent from all across the country. This allowed the Eldian army to become a formidable force that rivaled armies all throughout Viseron. So the key word here is they live in the country of Eldor, but Eldian Empire. The Eldian Empire, what I'm trying to like have it be read as, this is a history book that has not been updated. Is the idea. She's reading an older history book because the Eldian Empire, if we go back to the map, used to be all of Eldor, all of Irileth, this island right here, and then this little landmass right here. Now it is not. So that's the idea, is it's like, and she's gonna say something about it too, but the Eldian Empire is no more, right? There's still Eldor, which is still a big fucking country, but they're no longer the Roman Empire, essentially, you know? So clearly it wasn't that formidable if the Eldian Empire is no more, Vanya thought before reading further, her fingers skimming along the words. So that's the thing, is like, I'm kind of using Vanya to like be guiding the reader, if that makes sense. I don't know, like dropping extra tidbits. I don't know how I feel about this section. I really don't. I do need to just, yeah, renaming the IRL months and days is probably what I'm gonna do, and I'm probably gonna feel stupid while doing it, but it's probably what I'm gonna do. What sets Eldor apart from other nations, however, oh yeah, this is where I stopped before the stream. Okay. What sets Eldor apart from other nations, however, is both its army and the tournament follow a strict honor code. Other barbaric nations, such as Zorus, so this is meant to be kind of like slight propaganda, as in everyone that's not us is awful and barbaric and horrible. So, and a lot of what Vanya, one of the later themes in the book is hypocrisy, in the sense that Eldor thinks they're better than everyone else because they follow an honor code. But Irileth thinks they're better than everyone else because they use magic. And Vanya kind of comes to the realization way later on in the story of, hey, you guys both suck. And Zorus has some traditions that are maybe a little violent, but they're not hypocrites, you know? So it's like, that's kind of the theme later on. I guess it's just like, I don't know how I feel about using the word barbaric. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. You know, I don't... Like, there are real-world parallels here. Because I feel like whenever you write a fantasy novel that has political undertones, like, writing any sort of fantasy world is going to be somewhat political, right? And maybe I'm not talking about what those specific political associations are. You know, you can maybe connect the dots. Because I don't like talking about IRL politics. It makes me uncomfortable. But, like, that's the thing, is it's the idea of, like, oh, we have the moral high ground. Oh, we have the moral high ground. No, you both are assholes. You know, at least the people that are assholes are honest about being assholes. You know what I mean? And Zorus is a country that comes up later. Zorus is where Jasper and Severin are from. And they have a totally different structure. They basically live as a collection of city-states ruled by different war chiefs, essentially. And Zorus actually also thinks they are all high and mighty. Oh, shit. Because the way they see it is in Zorus, they don't have, you know, generals and kings that sit in an ivory tower and call the shots. Their leaders will fight alongside their countrymen. So they think everyone in Eldor is a dick. And also, this hasn't been mentioned yet, but Eldor tried to invade Zorus one time. And it went really, really bad. So everyone in Zorus kind of makes fun of everyone in Eldor. So like when Freya does eventually meet Jasper, Jasper is gonna call her out on a lot of her like conceptions of like, her worldview and stuff like that, of her kind of, you know, centric worldview of Eldor, not considering any other cultures. But to be fair, when Freya goes to meet Jasper way later on, that's like the first time she's ever left her homeland. So, you know, even when she was traveling with her parents, she never left Eldor. But anyway, that's way down the road. But that's the idea, is I'm trying to sprinkle in like little tidbits of world building. But I feel like barbaric is too harsh. Like they're trying to, you know, uplift themselves and make themselves seem like the moral high ground in terms of politics. But I feel like that's like too obvious. You know what I mean? Too obvious propaganda? Question mark? Would rather fight to the death and use violence from these tournaments and displays as a means to frighten their people into submission. So that's the idea, is they're like, yeah, we have tournaments, but like, we have rules for the tournaments. So it's okay. Let's see. The King's Tournament however, follows a strict set of rules and regulations, all of which are revised every tournament year by the War Council to ensure fights are fair for all contestants. In Eldor, a warrior is not assessed by the quality of their blade, but their commitment to their country, their honor, and their skill. So they're trying to kind of like put on this show of like, anyone can be a powerful warrior. You just gotta be talented and love your country and be patriotic. And Vanya then says, well, God's forbid you don't want to do anything else besides pick up a blade, right? Because she feels useless. She has no martial skills whatsoever. And that's part of what makes her feel like an outcast. Vanya murmured quietly under her breath. She looked out her window and saw the dilapidated houses around her in the South Valley. She couldn't help but be cynical when she compared them to the buildings of the North. See, that's just it, right? It's like anyone by the quality of their blade, you know, but then also, okay... and the North Valley is like where the college is, where all the rich people are, where the tournament is. The South Valley is where the orphanage kind of is. So there's some class disparity there. Like I said before, classism is a really big theme in that I'm going for, at least with Act 1. So that's her kind of being like, wow, this is stupid. So I don't know how I feel about this whole section. I'm gonna be real, you know? We're gonna take all of this. And I'll just, for my friends that edit this later, I don't know how I feel about this entire section. Lamau. Yeah, that's for my beta readers. We're just gonna move on because it's like, I don't know if it's good or not. Genuinely, I feel like it's not good. It's solidly fine at best, stupid at worst, you know? So, I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Vanya set her bookmark on the page before writing down a series of questions to ask Professor Nerixi when she went back to the college tomorrow. This is a fucking run-on sentence. Thank you for the yeet, Belle. I deserve that. Vanya set her bookmark on the page before writing down a series of questions to ask Nerixi. We're just gonna do, Nerixi tomorrow. She tucked a sheet of parchment between the pages. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, she tucked her sheet of questions. Let's do this. She tucked her... We can just delete this sentence, honestly. This sentence can just go. Yeah, goodbye. How's everything going? It's going good. We're almost done editing. Well, what we have so far of part 5 of my book. I'm honestly debating ending the chapter earlier and having some of the content come like in a part 6 or like, what's our word count right now? Because I think the way when I looked at it earlier, the word count, if I made the chapter cut, was like 4,000. Which is still like a decent word count for a chapter, but like, I don't know. Let's see. Vanya set her bookmark on the page before writing down a series of questions to ask Professor Nerixi tomorrow. She snuffed out the candle before crawling into bed. Despite her cynicism, she was excited to learn anything and everything she could. So Vanya's just happy to be reading. She's just like she still thinks history and the way the government works is dumb, but she's glad to learn about it. She's reading, you know, she's expanding her worldview. As per usual, Vanya was up long before Freya, tidying herself up so she could head back to the War College as soon as she could. So, I want to write... Okay, so, originally, what happens here is there's a dialogue about how Vanya can't afford to go to the college. And basically what David told me is that, like, tuition wasn't really, like, a thing back then. You kind of just could go or you couldn't, you know? So... what I'm gonna rewrite this scene, and I might do this now, I might do it later, where it's less focused on Vanya not having the money, but Vanya socially not being seen as acceptable to go to the college. So, like, here, okay, this is another world building thing that's stupid. She doesn't have a fucking sink. How is she washing her face? Because I want to have this scene where it's like, she washes her face over and over and over, but no matter like what she does, she still feels dirty and that she still feels unclean, you know, like she doesn't look like the other people at the War College. But now I'm thinking like, where the fuck would she go? Like, she has to have bathed, right? And I'm not writing an in-depth bathing scene about a 15-year-old, that's weird, but like, I'm thinking. Would she wash her face? I don't know. I feel like this we could break. How do I phrase this? Let's see. It's time for a Google search. Medieval hygiene practices. I love writing. I love writing so much. Despite the general lack of running water and other modern amenities, there are common exceptions, expectation of personal hygiene, such as regularly washing from a basin, especially the hands before and after eating, which was regarded as a good etiquette. Okay, so cool. So it wouldn't be like a bathroom, it would just be like a public communal basin, I guess? Let me see. Water supply. I don't even know about. Here we go. Personal hygiene. This running water was very rare, and considering it took such a physical effort to get one bucket full from a well or nearby water source, it's perhaps not surprising that taking a full bath every day was not a feasible option for most people. Indeed, with baths seen as a luxury given the cost of fuel to heat the water for monks. Yeah, let me see. I'm kind of skimming this. I'm gonna do a quick swill from using a basin of cold water. Yeah, this is just a really gorgeous painting that's just fucking hanging out in this worldhistory.org article. Yeah, so I think what we'll do... Let's rewrite this a little bit, actually. I don't think we need part 4 out anymore. I think we're done referencing that. I don't know if I want to delete all of this yet, but I'm gonna do this. Okay. As per usual, Vanya was up long before Freya. Let's actually change this a little bit, because it's not as per usual, right? She's going to the war college. That's a significant change in her routine. This is the second day she's going. We're gonna rewrite this. Vanya was always up earlier than Freya, but this time she managed to wake up before the sun was even out. She knew that to be successful at the war college, she had to look the part. She had already made a bad enough impression as is, or already, and looking like the average orphan certainly wouldn't help her progress. I'm the engineer who'd chat. Am from I have no mouth, I'm a screamer, the 57 kilobyte zip bomb. You know, that's a good question. I'm gonna go the zip bomb, personally. Welcome to the stream. I'm rewriting a section because I hate it, but that's okay. Let's see. She had already made a bad enough impression already, and looking like the average orphan certainly wouldn't help her. Looking like a disheveled orphan. Certainly wouldn't help her progress, even if that's what she is, or even if that's what she was. There we go. I think that should be good. Is a sentence I've never read before. Yeah. Yeah, I think disheveled makes more sense. Cause it's like, orphans aren't uncommon per se in like a society, in like I feel like a militaristic society. Like, damn, none of these kids have fucking parents, you know, but like, I feel like that just flows better. Looking like a disheveled orphan certainly wouldn't, well, no one looks like an orphan. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Can you fucking imagine? This is why I do editing streams. Can you imagine, like, damn, you look like an orphan. What does that mean? Okay, because I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to find like an eloquent way to be like, she looks poor. And she doesn't want to look poor, but she is poor. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole thing, is she's trying to fit in with the upper echelon of society and intellectuals, but she's just some kid from an orphanage. You know? So like, maybe we'd be a little bit more vague here. Disheveled pauper lately. That's a good one. Also, welcome in, Muffin. That's actually a really good one. That's why I write about dragons. It's way easier to write about dragons. Man, I've got it all wrong. I should have just been writing like dragon porn or some shit. Why did I try to world build? Okay, and looking like a disheveled pauper. Pauper wouldn't help her progress, even if that's what she was. Hi, Dog. Welcome, Big Gamer. There's always the classic peasant. That's true. Peasant's a good one. I think that works. Okay, yeah. So let's do that. But that's okay. Now it's time for the face thing. So that's the thing is I want her to just she's washing her face over and over and over again, but she never feels like she looks clean enough. So that's gonna be the bit. She made her way over to the wash basin. It was early enough that she had the... Where would a wash basin be? Like the kitchen? The communal area? Like, okay, back to medieval hygiene at worldhistory.org. I love world building. I love... Medieval peasants have long been the butt of jokes regarding hygiene, which goes back to medieval clerical tracts, which often describe them as little more than brutish animals. However, it was common practice for just about everyone to wash their hands and face in the morning. An early wash was also desirable because fleas and lice were a common problem. What if she has lice? You know that fucking when you have a D&D character sheet and it's like oh god, what is it? Like bonds, strengths, flaws. What if it's just flaws? Has lice. You know, I have to make a new character for a Pathfinder game I'm in, because my character fucking died. Well, can I... Hey, David.
What?
Can my new character for the Pathfinder campaign just have lice?
Why?
I don't know, I think it'd be funny.
Maybe.
Yeah, there are two types of world builders. See, that's the thing is I want to be the latter. I just made it the fuck up. But then my boyfriend who has fucking 15 years of DM experience in researching medieval history is like, hey, don't do that. I play Pathfinder 2nd edition. I kind of want to look more into Pathfinder 1st edition, and sometimes we like pull shit from Pathfinder 1st edition, but I mostly play 2nd edition. Maybe is the best answer for a game with that character. Yeah, that's my boyfriend David, who's conveniently also my DM in the background. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, so to the wash basin. It was early enough that we're just gonna say she was alone. That she was alone. There we go. It was early enough that she was alone. She washed her face once, still feeling as if, the dirt remained. The dirt and sweat from the day before remained. She washed her face again and again and again. No matter how harsh she scrubbed her face, she couldn't help but feel dirty compared to the people she had seen at the college yesterday. It was if no matter how hard she tried, she would never be able to join their ranks. Let me read that back and see if that makes sense. Okay, hold on. She made her way over to the wash basin. It was early enough that she was alone. She washed her face once, still feeling as if the dirt and sweat from the day before remained. She washed her face again and again and again. No matter how harsh she scrubbed her face, she couldn't help but feel dirty compared to the people. No, dirty's the right... Okay, we're back to this. Hold on. Synonyms for dirty. Grimy? Greasy. Bitch is greasy. Let's do grimy. Just so it's like, you know, just make it a little bit more variation. Couldn't help but feel grimy compared to the people she had seen at the college yesterday. It was as if no matter how much she tried, she would never be able to join their ranks. Let's see. She then braided her hair slowly. Trying to make sure not a single strand was out of place. And then we're gonna get rid of that. Let me see. Finally, she inspected her dress, making sure it was as clean as it could be. It was as... Let's do tidy. Again, I don't want to just keep using the words clean and dirty over and over again, because then that's just going to sound repetitive. She then braided her hair slowly, trying to make sure not a single strand was out of place. I don't want to use the word finally, actually. She inspected her... Let me see. She inspected her dress, making sure it was as tidy as it could be. She didn't want to stand... I feel like I can add more detail to that. Desperately trying to smooth out the wrinkles and toss away any loose threads. It felt as if when one problem was solved, another appeared. We're gonna do it was as if. Desperately trying to smooth out the wrinkles and toss away any loose threads. It was as if when one problem was solved, another appeared. Let me see. She didn't want to stand out in the North Valley, but it was inevitable. Still, this was the best she could do. I don't know, hold on. She then braided her hair slowly, trying to make sure not a single strand was out of place. She inspected her dress, making sure it was as tidy as it could be. Desperately trying to smooth out the wrinkles and toss away any loose threads, it was as if when one problem was solved, another appeared. She didn't want to stand out in the North Valley, but it was inevitable. Still, this was the best she could do. I still don't feel like I don't feel great about that, but it's good for now. Let me see. I do like the... Hold on. Okay. Hi, Kevin! Welcome in, Gamer. We're gonna do, let's see. She started wiping away, dust that had collected on the dress. Quickly growing frustrated. Thought Form, thank you so much for the following on Guess I Could Keep Girl Boss. Welcome to the stream. We are edited. I woke up like half an hour ago. Oh damn, it's like 8:25 over here? Yeah, 8:25. Here we go. So let me see. She started wiping away dust that collected on the dress, quickly growing frustrated Wait, what the fuck did I say? Quickly growing frustrated as it didn't seem to come off. I don't like that. Okay, hold on. Quickly growing frustrated as it didn't come off. As it failed to fall off the dress. Eventually, she started hitting at the dress. Another speck of dust or hair seemingly replacing... okay, the vision I had here, I'm literally grabbing a fucking, my fucking ukulele fell. Ignore that. But, like, the way I'm envisioning it, and I know I'm a VTuber, so you, like, can't see it right now. You know how, like, when you have, like, shit on your clothes, and you, like, do, like, one of those moves where you're, like, trying to, like, bat it, like, shake it out? Like, have you ever, like, had, like, dust or something on your pants, and you're just kind of, like, and it's not coming off, and then you're like you're trying to like bat it off, and it makes like a noise, like that noise. Like, can you hear that? That's what she's doing, and I don't know if I'm writing that correctly. So, okay, I feel like batting is a better word. Batting at the dress. Another speck of dust or hair, seemingly replacing the last one that had come off. Is that too repetitive with what we have here? Let me see. Desperately trying to smooth out the wrinkles and toss away any loose threads. It was as if when one problem was solved, another appeared. She didn't want to stand out in the North Valley, but it was inevitable. Still, this was the best she could do. She started wiping away dust that had collected on the dress, quickly growing frustrated as it failed to fall off. We don't need to say the dress again. Eventually, she started batting at it. We don't need, again, to say the dress again. Another speck of dust or hair seemingly replacing the last one that had come off. I feel like we can add more to the emotion here. No matter what she did, how hard she tried, things could not be... I don't want to say perfect, and I don't want to say clean either. Because that's what it's meant to be, is like, as she's trying to look nice, she just can't because of her circumstance, and she's just getting frustrated and pissed, and eventually she's just like kind of beating the hell out of this dress that she's trying to get ready to put on. Let's see what she did, how hard she tried, things she couldn't be satisfied. Actually, no, we're gonna do this. No matter how hard she tried, it was never enough. She kept hitting at the dress. Harder and harder, hoping everything would finally come out. Harder and harder, but to no avail. Okay, let me read that second paragraph. Hold on. She started wiping away dust that had collected on the dress, quickly growing frustrated as it failed to fall off. Eventually, she started batting at it, another speck of dust or hair seemingly replacing the last one that had come off. No matter what she did, how hard she tried, let's have some repetition here just to punch home. No matter how hard she tried, it was never enough. She kept hitting at the dress, harder and harder. Let's do... But nothing changed. Okay, I think that's good. What are you doing? Freya yawned. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Vanya sighed before throwing the dress onto the bed. Let's do... Resting her head in her hands. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Vanya sighed before throwing the dress onto the bed, resting her head in her hands. I just want to look nice. I didn't like the way everyone stared at me at the college. I look like a street rat. Let's see here. Let's have like a little something over here. She said as she grabbed the dress once more, holding it in her hands. I look like a street rat. I mean, we kind of are street rats, Freya smirked. Also, we're on page 9 of 12, so like, we're getting there. We're getting there, you know? Let's see. We kind of are street rats, Freya smirked. That's not a good thing. When people look at me, I don't want them to see an orphan. I want them to see a scholar, a researcher. Let's make this a period instead of a comma. I want them to see a scholar, a researcher. Vanya stopped herself before she could continue. I want them to judge me on my merits, not my appearance, but it seems they go hand in hand in the north. Well, that seems foolish. Freya sat up, her feet dangling off of the bed. When I went to the arena yesterday, we saw all kinds of folks passing through the crowd. Some in fancy, sparkling silver armor, and some that look kind of like us, she shrugged. Fighting in a tournament and trying to... So, okay, that's what it was. Okay, here's... Let me grab this, because this is where I had to be like, what the fuck am I doing, David? So, basically, eventually... let me go back to Discord. Okay. This is where he was reading it and he's like, scholarships didn't really exist in this context. So he made me this list of like, okay, like we ended up really, pretty much what happened is he didn't do this for me. We ended up having a really long conversation about this while I was in the bathtub. Like literally, I was like butt ass naked in the bathtub covered in bubbles. And David is just, like, on the, like, sitting on the toilet taking notes on his phone while I'm just fucking yapping. So, we're gonna, yeah, still needs an appointment with money in the dress. Pippin and Vanya caring about how she's perceived. We're gonna scrap the scholarship. I've seen some pretty scruffy researchers. No, and that's true. And there is one very scruffy researcher. That's our professor character, Professor Nerixi, who's an alcoholic. He's essentially like, I don't know if you've ever watched The Hunger Games. But basically my plan for Professor Nerixi is he's basically Haymitch if he was an elf in a fantasy setting. Was my inspiration. So there is a scruffy professor, but it's one, you know? No, big shout out to David for letting me yap and info dump and looking shit up for me. So, let me see. Fighting in a tournament and trying to earn... We're gonna do this. Trying to earn respect at a college are two different things. Still, I think you can use our status to mess with them. What's like a way to say that she's kind of like... Because the way I'm envisioning Freya saying it is she's like, still, I think you can use our status to mess with them. What's the whole deal with the Scott? Yeah, okay, so we need to scratch that. Oh, Thuffer, thank you so much. I really, really like my characters. I do have the first 4 chapters out. If you'd like to read them, if you type !book, it'll give you 2 links where you can read it. It's on Wattpad and it's on Inkit. But if you read it, please let me know if you like it. I don't do streams like this very often, but I might start doing them more because, like, I feel like it's fun. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you are too. But also, you guys are helping me get like my thoughts together, and the feedback is really useful. So, okay, but that's what I want. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like she mocked, maybe. Like she's putting on a funny voice to be like, you know, our status, right? Because Vanya's talking all about like status, and Freya's like, our status as fucking poor people, you know. Where's my list? Here we go. Shout out to 300 words to use instead of said. This website has a chokehold on me. Maybe humor? Let me see. She joshed. She joshed. I know that's like an actual word, but I can't read that without thinking she's just joshing you. My ex is a linguist researcher, and I was hanging out in her office, and half of the other researchers looked like they just rolled out of bed. I feel like it really depends on what field you're in, because like when I was in music school, like everyone was always like dressed up, like not always the students, but like everyone was always like very fancy, you know, or like in the business school, everyone was very, you know, very well dressed, but the art teachers always kind of looked like shit, which was like honestly valid. It's fun to see other creators be creative. Makes me want to be creative right now. Do it. Let anything motivate you. If I can motivate you to be creative, then I've won for the day. I literally, the whole reason I started writing again is because all the characters in this novel are I play in my Skyrim playthroughs, so I'd be playing Skyrim, and then I just start info dumping to my chat, and I'm like, I don't know, if I like wrote a book about my characters, like actually wrote that shit down, would you guys read it? And chat was like, yeah, and now I'm here. Your experience with music was very different than mine. It definitely depends. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people be like, either everyone is like drunk and hungover all the time, or it's very, very serious. And like, it was weird because like I went to a school that was not, I didn't go to like a prestigious like conservatory or anything like that, you know, like I went to like a small like liberal arts college, but they tried to take themselves like way too seriously, which like I can kind of respect, but it's also like one of those things where it's like, dude, dude, you know. Yeah, Josh sounds funny. Here, let me drink more water. We're going to, at the very least, finish editing what we have, so help me God. Okay. Yeah, I feel like mocked might be a good one. Let me see. Chuckled. Guffawed. What the fuck does guffawed mean? Bantered, maybe? No, I don't like that. It's a word with jabber. No, you would chatter. She yapped. Nattered, babbled, No, none of these are good. So, like, let me see. Speech, no. Maybe purpose? I don't know, man. I don't know. Coaxed. I'm just gonna say mocked. Status to mess with them, she said in a joking tone. Making an RPG using RPG Maker right now. That's so cool. I always wanted to do like RPG Maker stuff. I could just never figure it out, honestly. Let me see. I think that should work. She said in a joking tone. What's the whole deal with... Yeah, we can just change some of this. Let me see. Here we go. Because that's the thing, is we're scrapping the scholarship bit, so I think I still want to be like... I mean, like, we could honestly scratch this whole conversation. Well, not all of it. Like, okay. Let me see. How do I want this? Because Freya's whole thing is she's like, why do you care so much? Why do you give a shit? And Vanya's essentially, her retort is, I need to give a shit. Let me see. What's the whole, here, let me see. Yeah. We'll just change this to kind of follow up on what she said before. I bet you'd piss them off even more if some, scrubby orphan kid upstaged, all of them. I don't know. I bet you'd piss them off even more if some scrubby orphan kid upstaged all of them. Yeah, Freya would say that. Still, I think you can use our status to mess with them, she said in a joking tone. I bet you'd piss them off even more if some scrubby orphan kid upstaged all of them. Vanya sighed. Unfortunately, I can't afford to piss them off anymore. I need them to like me. I need them to respect me, right? Because then if you missed it, basically Vanya did not have a very good start to entering the war college because Freya mouthed off at literally everyone. Freya doesn't give a shit about nobody. Freya just says what is on her mind and deals with the consequences later. I need them. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't afford to piss them off anymore. I need them to like me. I need them to respect me. Yeah, I think that should be fine. And then here, I feel like Freya would just be like, well, I like you. You're my friend. Yeah. Well, I like you. Freya smiled. She's so cute. I love her. Vanya chuckled. And I appreciate that. But unfortunately, you aren't a professor doesn't need to be capitalized. Does Vanya have ADHD? No, but she does have autism. And you might be wondering, why are you making this character autistic? Because I'm autistic, and I want to. I mean, most of my characters, I'll be so real, most of my characters are varying levels of autistic. Or ADHD. Why, you ask? Because I'm autistic and ADHD. Hi, Warlink. Welcome in, gamer. Let me see. Yeah. Well, I like you. Freya smiled. Vanya chuckled. And I appreciate that, but unfortunately you aren't a professor at a prestigious university. At least last I checked. Let me see. And then we'll rewrite this. But I think this is the last thing we need to, like, straight up rewrite. Well, last I checked. Well, you've got me there. I love their dynamic so much. They're so fucking cute. Well, you've got me there. Still. Let me see. As someone with autism, thank you for writing autistic characters. Representation, let's go. Yeah! I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like, everyone's a little different in terms of how they're autistic. Like, for Vanya, she misses a lot of social cues, and she kind of has this heightened sense of justice in a way. Freya is more, like, strictly ADHD, but there's gonna be some characters, later that are, like, that haven't shown up yet that are also autistic. Like, Severin is autistic in the sense that he hyperfixates, and he also kind of misses some social cues and stuff like that, and doesn't really fit in. He's kind of an outcast. Well, you've got me there. Still, I want to help. Let me see. Here we go. Let me actually say this. Hold on. Well, you've got me there. Still, if you're smart enough, which you definitely are, it shouldn't matter what you look like or what you wear. You should sneak recorder and name her flute or something. So I did highly consider, like, way later, like Act 2, because there is a point, like, not Act 2, I think in Act 3 or 4, where they go recruit an assassin to help them for a plot point that has not been unveiled yet. And I was thinking, I'm like, can they go to, like, a really sketchy bar and Misty Sky's the dancer on that night? But I don't own that character, so I don't want to, like, you know, get myself in trouble. But it would be really funny if random Skyrim wench made an appearance, made a cameo. Well, you got me there. Still, if you're smart enough, which you definitely are, it shouldn't matter what you look like or what you wear. I think you'll be able to impress them regardless. Freya smiled. Let's see. And then we'll just replace this. Thank you. I just can't seem to get things to look nice. No matter I've been up since before the sun came up. Trying to get ready. Vanya sighed. Let me see. I don't like rewriting shit, but it's fine. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I've been up since before the sun came out trying to get ready, Vanya sighed. By the gods, no wonder you're stressed. When do you sleep? Feels, well, okay, no, she probably shouldn't say that. Here, let's actually do this. Just to make this easier. Vanya sighed, holding up the dress once more before showing it to Freya. There we go. I got an idea. What do you think? Looks fine to me. Freya doesn't fucking know. Looks fine to me, Freya shrugged. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. She said as she started to put the dress back on. I probably could contact the mod devs. I don't know if they'd say yes, but like, you know, worst they can say is no. So maybe I will. Who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. She says she started to put the dress back on. Oh yeah, you absolutely are, Freya said before getting off her bed once more and heading back to the drawer. So let's do... did she go to her drawer? Hold on. I think I cut that part. Hold on. Hi, Unicorn Man! Welcome! Yeah! I had a mono, but I came back a few weeks ago, and now I'm back to streaming regularly again. But hello! We're doing an editing stream. Let me see. Freya said we're getting off her bed and heading... Yeah, because I cut some stuff where, like, she went to her dresser beforehand, and now I cut that, so let me change this. Freya said before getting off of her bed and heading to... the drawer in her nightstand. Here, she said as she said as she grabbed a single gold coin, walking up to Vanya and placing it in her hand. It's not much, but you can probably find something you'd like with that. There we go. Okay, now I think we're back on track. Let me read through this whole section, because now I think we're done retconning shit, okay, based off of getting rid of the scholarship bit. Okay, let me do this again, okay. Fighting in a tournament and trying to earn respect at a college are two different things. Still, I think you could use our status to mess with them, she said in a joking tone. I bet you'd piss them off even more if some scrubby orphan kid upstaged all of them. Vanya sighed. Unfortunately, I can't afford to piss them off anymore. I need them to like me. I need them to respect me. Well, I like you. Freya smiled. Vanya chuckled. And I appreciate that, but unfortunately you aren't a professor at a prestigious university. At least last I checked. Well, you've got me there. Let me just add a little, Freya joked. And then do that. Yeah. Still, if you're smart enough, which you definitely are, it shouldn't matter what you look like or what you wear. I think you'll be able to impress them regardless. Freya, said, Freya, is comforted? Like, would that work in place of said? Because, like, how many saids do I have in this? 15, that's not too bad. Let me see. What was, like, comforted? Is there a category for that? Let me see. Comfort, maybe happy? I don't know, let me see. Let's see. We'll just do Freya smiled, I think. Or Freya smile. No, what? Fuck. There we go. Not that one. Fuck. I see what I did. Freya smiled. No, fuck. Stop. It keeps bringing me back to this. I'm not actually when I'm typing. Freya smiled. Thank you. I just can't seem to get things to look nice. I've been up since before the sun came up trying to get ready. Vanya held up, let's cut this a little bit. Vanya held up the dress once more before showing it to Freya. What do you think? Looks fine to me, Freya shrugged. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. She said as she started to put the, she started to put the dress back, maybe I'm just overthinking it. She started to put the dress back on. Oh yeah, you absolutely are, Freya said before getting off her bed and heading to the drawer in her nightstand. Let me do this. She rummaged around for a bit before, turning back to Vanya. Here, she said, as she, rummaged around. Actually, hold on, let me change this. She rummaged around for a bit before taking out a small leather pouch. Because she has the pouch that the guy gave her in chapter 4, as well as the money her parents left her with. Here, she says she grabbed a single gold coin from it, walking up to Vanya and placing it in her hand. It's not much, but you can probably find something you'd like with that. Freya, no, I can't accept this. Vanya shook her head as she pleaded. Well, I'm not taking it back. Listen, I feel like we should add, like, some sort of, like, Freya did or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's fine the way it is. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Yeah, I'm probably overthinking it. It's fine. It's not much, but you can probably find something you'd like with that. Freya, no, I can't accept this. Vanya shook her head as she pleaded. Well, I'm not taking it back. Well, I'm not taking it back. Yeah, we won't put a comma there. Listen, the guy from yesterday I told you about, he gave me more than enough for all of us to go to the tournament and have some left at the end. It's 1 coin. Don't think too hard about it. She smiled as she patted Freya on the back because I just think that'd be cute. They're wholesome. I love them so much. Vanya nodded. Accepting the gift. Accepting the gift. Alright, I won't get today. I think this should be okay for... I won't get today, but I think this should be okay for now. She says she put the coin in the pocket of her... of the dress she would wear. Because she already put the dress back on. She says she put the coin... We'll just do in her pocket. In her pocket. Yeah, let me see. I won't get it today, but I think this should be okay for now, she said as she put the coin in her pocket. I'll get something on my way back. There we go. I think that's a little bit more... That makes a little bit more sense, I think. There we go. Let me see. See? That wasn't hard, was it? Freya laughed. You go on. I'll see you when you get back. Freya says she crawled back into bed. What are you doing? Sleeping. You should give it a try sometime. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, but I'm gonna laugh at my own jokes. But welcome in, everybody. Oh, welcome in, Morlink. I'm sorry if I didn't see you or if I didn't say hi. I might have, I might not have. I don't remember. But welcome in. I'm sorry. What are you doing? Sleeping. You should give it a try sometime, Freya said before rolling back over. Have fun, she quietly sang before shutting her eyes and quickly heading back to sleep. So, there's part of me that's like... Do I end the chapter here, or do I end it... I might end it a little bit... Okay, let's read what I have ahead, because I feel like we could cut the chapter a little bit earlier than what I have so far. But, let me see. Vanya looked out the window. It was early, but not that early. It was still early. But not that early. We'll change the still to however, so it's not as repetitive. However, Vanya didn't want to waste any time. She grabbed a few things from the communal kitchen. Nothing that anyone would miss, but enough to make sure she wouldn't pass out from the long walk to the college again. We'll add again, because she did in fact almost pass out the first time. She ate as she walked. I don't think I need to add like what the fuck she's eating. Just she's eating. You know, she's eating and walking. She ate as she walked, dutifully brushing off crumbs whenever she noticed them. Now that she knew where she was going, the walk to the college felt a bit quicker. Once she got there, she took a moment to stare at the double doors leading inside. She wiped off her dress for the last time and remembered what Freya said. This was her thing. Did I still have that or did I cut that? I did cut that, so we're gonna need to make that make sense. Remember what Freya said. They would respect her for, they should respect her not for her clothes, but for her intelligence. She had just the right to be there as much as anyone else. Even if for now she was just doing her own research. Yeah, okay. She had just the right to be there as much as anyone else. Even if for now she was just doing her own research. She walked inside, holding her head up high before she made her way to the library. She opened the door slowly, expecting to see the same sights as yesterday. Students picking out books, having discussions, and reporting their conclusions to their advisors. When Vanya walked inside, she saw nothing of the sort. The light shined through the large windows of the library, but there were no students to be seen. The archivist wasn't even there. The only person in the library was a man laying on the stairs, seemingly unconscious. So, there's gonna be a whole thing with the professor. That's who she sees unconscious, is Professor Nerixie, because he's passed out fucking drunk on the stairs, because he's a hot mess of a human being. Well, he's not a human being, he's an elf. He's a hot mess of an elven being. So, I'm wondering, like, there's so much has already happened this chapter. Like, so much has already happened. We had Freya and Cain telling Vanya about what happened at the tournament. We had Vanya and Cain's confrontation, and then we had the whole bit about Vanya not feeling like she belongs in the college. I guess my thing is, I'm like, is there too much? Like, should we end it at, like, let me see. Maybe end it at, like, here? And then change seemingly to just unconscious. Let me read what we have after that, and then let me know what you think. She slowly closed the door behind her, trying not to make a sound. Was she supposed to be here? The library couldn't have been closed. She had heard the bell toll 8 times on her walk there. That should be there. She set her bag gently on, set her bag down gently on one of the desks before walking closer, stepping carefully as to not let the floor creak. Alcoholic elf, not a... See, that's what I'm saying. One of my beta readers was like, I like that you made the elf an alcoholic. I like that he's kind of a fucking mess, because so many fantasy elves are just like, and I do have some of those, right? That are like very stoic, but Professor Nerixie is just a fucking drunk. Well, he's got a good heart, but he's got issues. We'll put it like that. We'll get more into his issues later. She set her bag down gently on one of the desks before walking closer, stepping carefully as to not let the floor creak. As she got closer, she was able to identify the man. It was the elven professor from before that had defended her, when it seemed as if everyone else wanted her to leave and never come back, because she was kind of being a bitch. He was breathing, so that was a good sign. He looked to be breathing. So that was a good sign. The question now was whether or not to simply leave and come back later, or wake him up, and see what was going on. She leaned in closer, waiting before she remembered his name. Professor Nerixie? There was no response. She spoke up once more, louder than before, but still trying to maintain a calm tone. Professor Nerixie? Are you alright? Huh? The man muttered, slowly waking up. His breath reeked of alcohol. Vanya couldn't help but be disappointed. The one person that stood up for her was seemingly a drunk. How can you live that long and not be an alcoholic? Okay, so the tea with Professor Nerixie, right? Okay, spoiler time. Spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Professor Nerixie is a spy from Irileth, which is the Magocracy that Eldor is trying to, at some point, go to war with. But the thing is Professor Nerixie he wasn't like a noble, but he was really well respected as a researcher, as a mage in Irileth. However, he was banished from Irileth, and the thing is he was one of those people where he did something really fucked up, but he's too valuable to lose, right? So they wanted to punish him, but they didn't want to, like he's gonna come back eventually, you know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I'm going for, right? So pretty much, the whole reason Professor Nerixie's always been an alcoholic, but he is also technically acting as a spy for Irileth under the guise of being a professor. But the thing is, the reason it's a punishment for him is he fucking hates being here, and he hates being a professor. Like, he's like an adjunct, right? But the reason he got banished is because he had an affair with the king's wife. Like, that's literally why. Like, he's a whore! He's a slut! And he's an alcoholic! But he's gonna be Vanya's mentor. So that, like, Vanya's literally having this moment of like, This one, this is the guy that stood up for me. Oh, it's so over. So, but that's, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. We can't afford to lose or make him live with the normies for a little while. Literally, that's kind of it, you know? So, I guess my thing is I'm like, do we have this whole conversation or should I? So, where are we at word count wise? We're at 5,000 words, right? If we cut out the rest of this, how many words are we at? Let me see. 4,576. So much has happened already. Do you think I should continue the bit with Professor Nerixie in chapter 5? Or should I end chapter 5 here with her finding a man on the stairs unconscious? Have it end on a cliffhanger, right? And then chapter 6 starts with her figuring out what the fuck's going on with the professor. Or should I just make this chapter really long? Because I think chapter 4 was really long. How long was chapter 4? Let me see. Because if chapter 4 was really long, I don't know if I want to have 2 super long chapters back to back. Chapter 4 was 5.7k. So, like, I don't know. What do you think? An affair having alcoholic elf spy. He's a hot mess. I love everything about him. Like, okay, I'll be so real. He was one of those characters where I kind of just made him up on the spot, and then I, like, fell in love with him as I was writing him. I love so much about him. So, like, that's where I'm at. Because what's gonna happen after that? Okay, let's go into the plot that David gave me, right? And again, David didn't give me this plot. He just wrote it down while I was yapping in the bathtub, because that's what I do, is I yap in the bathtub. That's how I figure things out. Ending on the cliffhanger would make sense to make people go, oh shit. See, that's the thing, is it's like, there's a guy that's unconscious in the library. What happens? And then chapter 6 starts and it's like, oh, bro is just fucking conked out. So I feel like we might do that, because what's gonna happen, right, is we scrap the scholarship point. That's done. Pivot to Vanya caring about how she's perceived at the university. We did that. Sully's in the point with money and the dress. Because I thought the scene with Freya giving Vanya the gold to go buy the dress was really cute. And I didn't want to scrap that. So, what's going to happen next, essentially? Because originally I was going to have it where Nerixie, like, because where this is leading to is Nerixie's from Irilith. He's a mage. Magic is illegal in Eldor, right? But Vanya wants to be a mage and she needs a mentor, right? So pretty much what I need to happen is either for Nerixie to use magic in front of Vanya and for her to be like, holy shit. Or for Vanya to use magic in front of Nerixie and for him to be like, holy shit, right? So that was kind of like one of those things where it's like, how do I get to that point? Right? So pretty much the way we figured it out, and I'm just writing this out to get kind of my feelers out there. Nerixie, does, oh shit. Oh shit! Welcome in everybody! Hello! Thank you so much for the raid, Odyssey! Let me do the shout out button. Shout out Odyssey, you're a beat. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Sparkly Pixie, thank you so much for the follow. You're not guess like you keep girl boss. Oddfern, thank you so much for the follow. You're not guess like you keep girl boss. So, welcome. My name is EB Games. I usually play Skyrim and I have a love for the fantasy genre. So today, oh, Poketoa, thank you so much for the follow. I guess I get you girl boss. Today we are actually doing something a little bit different. I'm currently writing a fantasy novel, and today we've been editing and finishing up our 5th chapter of our novel. So if you like novels with magic and politics and blood rituals, which we're getting to, and you know, spies and drama, then check it out. So if you type !book in the chat, it'll give you a link to 2 places where you can read the first 4 chapters. This is kind of my first draft of it, but I still wanted to put it out there just for fun. But it is basically a book about one woman's descent into madness due to her desire to fuck around with life and death as she starts to engage in the illegal practice of blood magic. And kind of, we're still in Act 1, which is just kind of like how she gets to that point. They're still kind of in their early childhood. But we kind of talked about our story outline. If you are interested in this, you're like, oh, this looks pretty cool. You might want to lurk just because I will be giving spoilers. But basically, let me do that real quick. Here you go. But basically, It's if you've ever seen my Skyrim streams before, it uses the same OCs as my Skyrim stream, but they're just in my own world that I've been world building. So we finished. We think we're finished part 5. We think we are. I started writing ahead of it. We were kind of determining where to cut the chapter off, but pretty much we're ending on our MC walking into a library that she's trying to, of a university where she's trying to earn prestige. And she had this whole moment because she's an orphan. Red Go Light, thank you so much for the follow. You know, I guess I keep girl boss. But she had this whole moment where she's like, because she's an orphan and her friends are orphans, or they live in the really shitty part of town, where she's like washing her face, trying to be as nicely dressed as she can, and she feels like she just can't be, you know, clean. She just can't look nice, just no matter how hard she tries. And, you know, she's telling one of her friends, like, I need to look good. I need them to respect me. If I don't look like them, they're not going to respect me. And her friend essentially is like, well, that's stupid. So give you a little preview. Let me see. So we'll give you a preview. We'll do some story time again. And for my friends that have been here, you know what I'm talking about. So this is our main character. Is this lady named Vanya, who is secretly a mage living in a country where magic is illegal. She made her way over to the wash basin. It was early enough that she was alone. She washed her face once. Thunberg, thank you so much for the 200 bits, gamer. I gotta go, but your story's quite interesting. I'm gonna relate today. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you like it. I do have a Discord. If you would like to share your thoughts, I do have a Discord for like story discussion and stuff like that. So please let me know if you like it. But thank you so much for the bits and for enjoying my story. I appreciate you. So she made her way over to the wash basin. It was early enough that she was alone. She washed her face once, still feeling as if the dirt and sweat from the day before remained. She washed her face again, and again, and again. No matter how harsh she scrubbed at her face, we're gonna add that word out right there, she couldn't help but feel grimy compared to the people she had seen at the college yesterday. It was as if no matter how hard she tried, she would never be able to join their ranks. She then braided her hair slowly, trying to make sure not a single strand was out of place. She inspected her dress, making sure it was as tidy as it could be, desperately trying to smooth out the wrinkles and toss away any loose threads. It was as if when one problem was solved, another appeared. She didn't want to stand out in the North Valley. That's like the rich people part of town where the college is. But it was inevitable. Still, this was the best she could do. She started wiping away dust that had collected on the dress, quickly growing frustrated as it failed to fall off. Eventually, she started batting at it, another speck of dust or hair seemingly replacing the last one that had come off. No matter what she did, no matter how hard she tried, it was never enough. She kept hitting at the dress, harder and harder, but nothing changed. What are you doing? Freya yawned. Freya is basically her roommate and best friend. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Vanya sighed before throwing the dress onto the bed, resting her head in her hands. I just want to look nice. I didn't like the way everyone stared at me at the college, she said as she grabbed the dress once more, holding it in her hands. I look like a street rat. I mean, we kind of are street rats, Freya smirked. That's not a good thing. When people look at me, I don't want them to see an orphan. I want them to see a scholar, a researcher. Vanya stopped herself before she could continue. I want them to judge me on my merits, not my appearance, but it seems they go hand in hand in the North. Well, that seems foolish. I'm gonna add well, because every time I read this line, I say well, and then it's not there. Freya sat up, her feet dangling off the bed. When I went to the arena yesterday, we saw all kinds of folks passing through the crowd. Some in fancy, sparkling silver armor, and some that looked kind of like us, she shrugged. Fighting in a tournament and trying to earn respect at a college are two different things. Still, I think you can use our status to mess with them, she said in a joking tone. I bet you'd piss them off even more if some scrubby orphan kid upstaged all of them. Vanya sighed. Unfortunately, I can't afford to piss them off anymore. I need them to like me. I need them to respect me. Well, I like you, Freya smiled. Thank you so much for the follow. You're no guess I keep girl boss. Vanya chuckled. And I appreciate that, but unfortunately, you aren't a professor at a prestigious university, at least last I've checked. Well, you got me there, Freya joked. Still, if you're smart enough, which you definitely are, it shouldn't matter what you look like or what you wear. I think you'll be able to impress them regardless, Freya smiled. Kodahime, thank you so much for the follow. You don't guess I can keep girl boss. Thank you. I just can't seem to get things to look nice. I've been up since before the sun came up trying to get ready. Vanya held up the dress once more before showing it to Freya. What do you think? Looks fine to me, Freya shrugged. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. She started to put the dress back on. Oh yeah, you absolutely are, Freya said before getting off her bed and heading to the drawer in her nightstand. She rummaged around for a bit before taking out a small leather pouch. Here, she said as she grabbed a single gold coin from it, walking up to Vanya and placing it in her hand. It's not much, but you can probably find something you'd like with that. Freya, no, I can't accept this. Vanya shook her head as she pleaded. Well, I'm not taking it back. Listen, the guy from yesterday I told you about, he gave me more than enough for all of us to go to the tournament and have some left at the end. It's 1 coin. Don't think too hard about it. She smiled as she patted Vanya on the back. That's the wrong fucking name. Whoopsie. Vanya nodded, accepting the gift. All right, I won't get it today, but I think this should be okay for now. She says she put the coin in her pocket. I'll get something on the way back. See? That wasn't hard, was it? Freya laughed. You go on. I'll see you when you get back, Freya said as she crawled back into bed. What are you doing? Sleeping. You should give it a try sometime, Freya said before rolling back over. Have fun, she quietly sang before shutting her eyes and quickly heading back to sleep. Vanya looked out the window. It was still early, but not that early. However, Vanya didn't want to waste any time. She grabbed a few things from the communal kitchen. Nothing that anyone would miss, but enough to make sure she wouldn't pass out from the long walk to the college again. Vanya's kind of frail, so the last time they walked over to the college, she almost passed out, but it was also because she forgot to eat or drink anything. She ate as she walked, dutifully brushing off crumbs whenever she noticed them. Now that she knew where she was going, the walk to the college felt a bit quicker. Once she got there, she took a moment to stare at the double doors leading inside. She wiped off her dress for the last time and remembered what Freya said. They should respect her not for her clothes, but for her intelligence. She had just the right to be there as much as anyone else, even if for now she was just doing her own research. She walked inside, holding her head up high before she made her way to the library. She opened the door slowly, expecting to see the same sights as yesterday. Students picking out books, having discussions, and reporting their conclusions to their advisors. But when Vanya walked inside, she saw nothing of the sort. The light shined through the large windows of the library, but there were no students to be seen. The archivist wasn't even there. The only person in the library was a man laying on the stairs, unconscious. And that is where chapter 5 is going to end. So I started writing a little bit. Originally, I was going to keep this as part of the same chapter, but we're going to put it in chapter 6. But TLDR, she finds her professor who's drunk off his ass. Oh, thank you, Gamer Boy. I really appreciate that. But basically, she finds her professor who's drunk off her ass, and this is kind of what happened before the raid was in. So we're talking about what's going to happen in the next chapter. So again, this is going to be spoilers, so don't look at it, or maybe just lurk. I appreciate if you're lurking, if you don't want to spoiler. But basically, what happens, let me pull up the message again. I lost it. Here we go. Let me do this move. Oh, wait, no. Also, if you're wondering why we're in a Red Robin, I probably should have explained that. I don't know why, but whenever I go to Red Robin, I get like the weirdest creative energies. I figure out so much shit at Red Robin. So that's why we're in a Red Robin today. Red Robin helps me write. I don't know if it's the fries or the burgers, but something about the atmosphere at Red Robin just helps. Red Robin is a creative liminal space. Yes, you get it. Thank you. I need to go to Red Robin. But that's why we're here. But basically, let me put this back up. So what's gonna happen then, just because my boyfriend helped me kind of write everything, kind of get my ideas down as we, because I encountered kind of a plot hole for a second, and then he helped me write this out. So this is going to be the plot for the next few chapters, and really for probably the rest of Act 1. The Red Robin I live near used to have a floor TV. I want a floor TV. The fuck? That sounds cool as hell. So what's going to happen is basically we're here, right? So she finds her professor, Professor Nerixie, at the library, and he's drunk off his ass, right? I want you to take every elf stereotype about elves being like stoic and cool and toss it out the window. Professor Nerixie is a alcoholic and a whore. So, but he's going to be Vanya's mentor, because he is also secretly a mage, just like Vanya. But Nerixie doesn't really give a shit that he's found drunk in the library. He's like, okay, you can go. You know, I don't really give a shit. This happens all the time. Just go, come back later, right? And Vanya doesn't do that. She just kind of sits there and starts studying, and she walked all this way. And Nerixie's like, what the fuck? Spotted Lavender, thank you so much for the follow. You know, I guess I could keep Girl Boss. Best elf, in my opinion. I need to get art of Nerixie. We're getting art of all the characters soon. Like, we have, like, the Skyrim screenshots, and I have some of the illustrations, but we're getting, like, I'm getting a really cool art piece commissioned of all my OCs, and I'm so fucking excited about it. Seeing the different ways people write is very interesting, and I don't follow the conventional way of writing. Seeing the conventional way of writing is always kind of interesting to me, if there is a conventional way of writing. I honestly have no idea how I would describe my writing style. Like, I I never like really thought about it. You know, I kind of just I write and I read it out loud, and if it sounds good, nice. And if it doesn't sound good, fuck it, do it again. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have that, right? So Vanya's just kind of studying, and Nerixi's like, huh? The fuck? Nani? The fuck? And he asks her, but he's intrigued by her, right? So he asks her to help with some, like, menial task. I haven't figured it out, but the big thing that's happening is this is a militaristic society where the biggest, like, national holiday of the year is this massive-ass tournament to fight to see who can get into the king's army. People come from all across the country to fight for the opportunity to fight in the king's army, because that's seen as, like, the highest honor in this country. But Vanya, who's a mage, doesn't really give a shit, and her professor is also kind of like, you don't give a shit about this, do you? Do you want to just skip the tournament and help me with so-and-so, right? And the thing is Vanya wants a mentor, right? She knows she should probably say yes, but the thing is, remember her friend Freya that was really sweet and gave her money for the dress and was nicer? She already promised Freya she'd go to the tournament with her. So then we're gonna get some conflict. But anyway, she basically, Vanya does ask questions about the tournament because she wanted to know. She had questions written down to ask him before all this, because Freya brought the tournament up and she had read about the night before. And Nirixie knows she doesn't care. So Freya and Vanya have a confrontation about Vanya flaking, and Freya questions their friendship, which she should, because Vanya is sometimes kind of the worst. Not saying Freya is perfect, but Vanya, well, I don't want to just be like, just go read it. But if you read, like, especially the chapter 4, chapter 3, sometimes she's kind of the worst. Sometimes she's not great. And this chapter, she really does not always show the best of herself, right? I'm so glad I can help inspire you. Listen, if I can help inspire people to start writing, then I have won. I literally hadn't done any writing for like a decade until I started just kind of info dumping about my OCs while I played Skyrim. And I was like, hey chat, if I wrote a book, would you read it? And chat was like, yeah. And now I'm here 5 chapters later. So basically Freya questions their friendship. But then Freya and her friend Kane, they still go to the tournament. Then they watch this guy that they looked up to and were inspired by die, and Kane freaks the fuck out. Freya's seen a lot of death before because her parents were adventurers. They were basically professional mage hunters. So Freya's deeply traumatized, but she doesn't have this like visceral reaction that Kane does. Kane's another character we haven't really gotten into in the second half of the stream because he's not really important in the second half of the chapter. But Kane freaks the fuck out because he hasn't like seen anyone die in front of him before. So they leave and they kind of go exploring a little bit to get away from everything, to kind of, you know, help. Freya wants to help him calm down because he's essentially having a panic attack. And they have like a heart-to-heart moment where Freya's like, you know, this is the reality of it, but of, you know, being a warrior, you know, people die. You're going to see people die. But, you know, this just means we have to train harder. We have to look at this analytically. What mistakes did he make? And how do we not make them? You know, but she's also like there for him. So they're going to go like have fun somewhere, dick around the city for a little bit. But then they get in some trouble because they encounter some ruffians. I guess they get like robbed or something. Because keep in mind, Freya had that big ass coin pouch, right? And Freya, I love her, but she's a little dumb sometimes. So she probably like says something. She's like, yeah, I still have 20 gold left. And like, I don't know if she would say that because she did make a comment about money in chapter 3. But like, she's gonna say something stupid. People are gonna try to either fight her or do something because Freya just runs her mouth. And they get attacked, right? And originally Freya's like, oh, let's go run back to the college because that's the rich people part of town. They're not gonna follow us into the rich people part of town. But then as they're running, Freya basically says something fucked up to one of them. She probably is just like, haha, your mom's a whore, get fucked. I don't know if she's gonna canonically say that, but something, put that into like fantasy speak, and that's what she says. She's gonna say some, your mother stinks of elderberries or some shit, right? So then they're like, oh, okay. And then they do follow her into the rich part of town. And they fucking, Vanya and Nirixie are studying. chilling. No one's in the library because everyone's at the tournament. And then Freya and Kain bust in with these like 3 people fucking fighting them, and basically Nyrixie blasts a motherfucker. That is literally what David wrote here. And the thing is Freya's parents were mage hunters, but Freya watched her parents die to this giant massive fireball. So when Freya sees Nyrixie blast a motherfucker, right, Freya has a panic attack. Like, she goes into, like, because that's the last thing she saw of her parents dying, was just, like, this engulf of flames taking everything over. So, Vanya's doesn't know what to do. She's panicking, because Vanya knows magic, but she only knows healing magic, right? Kain is also panicking, because he's had a day. Bro has had a day. And then, as Freya's, like, kind of in this, like, freeze response, she gets stabbed, right, by one of the people that are fighting. Now, this is where the story kicks up, though, because the way Vanya heals Freya is through blood magic. Because basically the observation that they make is, you know, instead of doing regular healing magic, it's like, oh, Freya's lost a lot of blood because she got hit real hard, right? She's not looking good, right? And it's like, oh, she's lost a lot of blood. Because in this world, the way healing magic works is it can seal something, it can mend something, it cannot add something that has been taken out, right? So you can't just magically restore blood to someone's body, right? You can seal a wound, right? And you can stop the bleeding, but you can't add more blood. So Vanya, in like this basically just like instantaneously moment of like instinct, right? She kind of just cuts her wrist open and gives her blood to Freya and engages in a blood magic ritual for the first time, which is not just illegal in the country they're in right now, but is even illegal in the country where magic is accepted, even in the Mageocracy. So Freya, Nyrixie, and Kain all kind of look at her and are like, what the fuck was that? So that's what's gonna be happening in the coming chapters, probably. Okay, so let's go back to our outline, because that's what I have planned for, like, the immediate things. Getting some TTRPG ideas. I'll be so real with you, I do want to turn this into a TTRPG setting, too. My boyfriend has been, I don't DM, but my boyfriend's been DMing for, like, 15 years now. Holy shit. So he's helping me with a lot of the world building, because, like, I like writing stories, I like writing characters, but, like, I don't know how taxes work. I don't know what an economy is. So like all those little nuances he's helping me with. So that's what we need to figure out. So basically, let's go back to our outline, because we need to figure that out. So we scrapped the, okay. So Vanya starts attending the War College to read and research, right? The scholarship bit we cut. Let me see. She basically walks in on Nyrixie, passed out, drunk on the stairs, right? Work on a research project with Professor Nyrixie or attend the King's Tournament. That's gonna be the same. Freya and Kain, because I think the King's Tournament is in like 2 days. So like this is probably gonna be, what's the word? Probably chapter 6. Then this is gonna be. Okay, hold on. So then that's gonna happen, right? So we're gonna do this. So Vanya is going to ditch the King's Tournament to work with Nyrixie. And let's do this. Okay, so this is, yeah, Vanya's gonna ditch the King's Tournament to work with Nyrixie. Vanya, Freya, confrontation. This is just me, like, kind of rewriting my outline, because a lot of stuff got fucked up. And then I think that's just pretty much gonna be it. So then I think that'll be where where chapter 6 ends, actually. So we're gonna do that as let me actually get rid of this. So we're gonna do, just to help me plan a little bit better. So this is Act 1, chapter 6, and then this is all gonna be, I feel like we could fit all of that into chapter 6. Because again, the King's Tournament's in 2 days, I think. So that should be fine. So we're going to do all that over there. Then this is going to be chapter 7. Or really part 7. How long is Act 1 going to be? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Okay, so Freya and Kain witness a king's tournament. Kain learns the reality of death, and Freya second guesses her choices to follow in her parents' footsteps. Okay, this is where we're changing everything. All of this, we are fucking changing. So I'm literally just gonna go back to what David sent me. Yeah, we're just gonna copy paste what David sent me. Lamau. Basically, let's do, or let me actually do this. How long is Act 1 gonna be? Yes. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, because the reason I chose the act structure is I want, like if an act ends, that means it's either something very, very, very significant has happened, or there's like a time skip, right? Like, I know Act 2 is gonna open with a time skip, right? Of 3 years in the future, right? So, okay, so Matthias dies, and Kain freaks the fuck out. Let me see. Yeah, so pretty much, we can just replace this with, yeah. Matthias dies, and Kain freaks the fuck out. They leave. We're gonna consolidate a little bit. Go exploring a little bit away from the tournament. Grounds. Heart-to-heart moments ensue. Go have fun somewhere. Freya runs her mouth and they get attacked. Chased to the library. Combat ensues. Nerixie blasts the motherfucker. Vanya is scared. Kain panics. Freya's panic attack and gets stabbed. Vanya begins using blood magic, not just regular magic, but blood magic, to heal Freya. And Nerixie is like, what the fuck? And everyone is like, what the fuck, essentially. And that'll be part 7. And then I feel like, because I feel like we could start Act 2 there, because then it's like 3 years have passed, because we don't need a whole chapter or chapters of just Freya and Kain training arc and Vanya training arc, right? We can do kind of a Rocky montage of that in 2 paragraphs at the start of Act 2, right? So Act 2, 3 years have passed since the end of Act 1. We've moved Intermission 1 to the end of Act 2. Vanya has been studying officially at the War College under Professor Nerixie, and in secret has been honing her magic abilities. Kain and Freya are about to enter trials to represent Balria, that's the city where they're from, in the King's Tournament. For 2 years, they failed to make it in. So pretty much the idea is after that first year, they tried every year to make it in, and this is the first year they make it in. Now, with them being kicked out of the orphanage in only a month, because they're about to turn 18, this is their last chance to make it in the tournament to attempt to earn a better life in the King's Army. We're about to get to major spoiler territory. So, like, again, if you would like to support the stream but don't want major spoilers, please consider lurking and then just turning my volume down very low. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, major spoiler time. So, for 2 years, they failed to make it in. Now, with them being kicked out of the orphanage in only a month, this is their last chance to make it into the tournament to attempt to turn a better life in the King's Army. Both succeed. Vanya begins to ask questions about necromancy and blood magic, worrying Nerixie. So the idea is Nerixie gives her, like, a long talk of, like, you can't do that. Yeah, so I think we need to add that. Nerixie pulls Vanya aside and explains blood magic is highly illegal and that he will help her hone her skills safely. Yeah, I think that's good. Vanya begins to ask more questions about necromancy and blood magic, worrying Nerixie. Okay, here's where it gets spicy. Remember what I was talking about earlier with my new character of our me and David's Skyrim playthrough? Miss Faldra Volrad, we brought up our MILF assassin, right? Remember her? You might think, oh, Evie wouldn't use an OC from her book for just a Skyrim completion playthrough, would she? That's where you're wrong, motherfucker. I absolutely would, because as the three walk back together from the arena / the War College, they decide to take an alternate route and witness Faldra Volrad, an Irolethian assassin, murder an Eldian diplomat. Uh-oh, political intrigue, assassination, we got some Franz Ferdinand shit going on now. So basically, the three go undetected at first with Vanya's silence spell working to cease any sounds of breathing or distress. So like in the beginning of chapter 2, it's her trying to figure out how to write out the spell. Faldra looks distressed, and she realizes, I here. That's not grammatically correct and it's going to drive me insane. And realizes she's murdered the wrong target, right? And this is not explicitly said, but they kind of infer it just based off her body language. She then spots the three and runs off. Guards get a glimpse at the four of them, and the three manage to run back home while Faldra escapes, right? So they're trying to basically go through, you know, some alleyways to get home, and basically, the way she gets away with the assassination, she lures this man in by being, I don't know, being hot, sexy MILF, I guess. We'll work that out later. And then she fucks him, murks him, starts looking through his belongings, and then looks back at a note she's been given, and they see her be like, oh shit! And she looks like she's like panicking. So they kind of assume something's wrong here, right? So they run off, right? But the big thing is guards have seen the three kids, right? Well, they're not really kids anymore, and Faldra together after this big political assassination, essentially, right? Because the thing is, this happens in the North Valley. That's where all the rich and powerful people of Eldor, not just Belria, but of Eldor live. So the three contemplate how to proceed, with all of them agreeing that Vanya needs to tell her professor what happened to ensure they don't get in trouble, and that Kain and Vanya's spots in the tournaments are safe. Because that's the big thing, is Professor Nyrixie is kind of the only adult they have. Like, yeah, they have Mother Miriam at the orphanage, but she's just gonna throw them out, right? Professor Nyrixie's the only person any of them can go to, right? Vanya tells Nyrixie what happens, and he panics because he's already freaking out. Because remember, Nyrixie's a spy from Irileth, right? And an Irilethian assassin killing an Eldian diplomat, oh, he's about to dip. So once he finds out that Vanya, it might look like she's involved, right? He claims that as someone whose face has been seen through the North Valley, she needs to leave Eldor immediately. She needs to go, especially as someone who's also associated with him, right? An Irillethian spy. So Nyrixie finally tells her all this, that he's a spy, and with a murder from an Irillethian assassin, his safety, as well as Vanya's, since she was seen with this assassin, are at risk. He tells Vanya that he'll make arrangements for her to be on a boat to Irileth by dusk, and that she'll finally have a chance to be with a family and can study magic freely. This is basically her one and only chance to get the fuck out of Eldor, which is what she's wanted her entire life, to get out of this bumfuck country and study magic, right? But now she has Freya. Now she has Kain, who she does eventually have a decent friendship with, barely, right? So now it's like, fuck, this is everything I've ever wanted, but now I have to leave my friends behind. So basically, it's time for her to say goodbye to Freya and Kain, right? The three have a heartfelt goodbye, with Vanya swearing to Freya that she'll write, and to let her know they're both alive by the end of the tournament. Freya asks her when she'll return, to which Vanya doesn't have an answer. Vanya leaves behind everything she knows, and only a few days later, the elimination round of the tournament starts. Thank you so much, Night Sky, for the hydrate. Freya and Kain are left to fight each other in the tournament, being the last two remaining in one of the rounds. And in a freak accident, murders Kain in the tournament. So something we talked about at the beginning is one of the things that sets apart Eldor, to them at least, from other countries, is their tournaments have rules. They do not fight to the death, right? So it's seen as a big no-no to kill somebody. It still happens, right? So I do need to retcon this. I need to figure, like she wouldn't be arrested. Like, it'd be, like, highly frowned upon, you know, but she wouldn't be arrested, right? Like, it's not good, and she wouldn't have a good reputation, but I don't know if she'd get arrested, you know? But that's the big whoop, is Kain dies. And Freya kills Kain on accident. And the idea I have in planning to write it is the two have sparred and dueled each other time after time after time, almost like months now, right? And it's almost to the point where the way Freya looks at fighting is very analytically. So the way I plan on writing is she thinks she knows what he's going to do, right? Like, it's like, okay, and now he's going to dodge here, and now he's going to hit me from the side, and now he's going to do this, right? He's going to do this, he's going to do this, and then it's just going to be, but then he didn't. And that's going to be it, is it's like, I have memorized this man's movements. I have fought him for the last 4 years, endlessly, to train for this tournament. And he did something I didn't expect. And so then Freya accidentally murders him. And the reason for that, and the thing is like, Kain's been a very important character so far, and that's why I'm like, this is big spoiler, and I've talked about this before, but the reason Kain dies, right, is for Freya's character development, because now Freya has no one, right? Vanya's gone, Kain's dead, and now she's kind of back to where she was before she got to the orphanage, right? When she watched her parents die, She's alone again, right? How's she gonna cope with that? Not well, presumably. But that's where Act 2 is going to end. And then we are going to have the intermission, which gets into 2 of my other characters that are really important. But haven't appeared so far. Then we're gonna get into Act 3, which is gonna open with Vanya getting to Irileth, learning how to adjust, meeting Severin, who's gonna be her boyfriend. And now she has to wrangle the politics of Irilethian high society, which get weird. And she also sees there's a lot of weird shit that happens. I don't know if we're gonna go, yeah, okay, so we'll go through it. Fuck it, why not? I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. All that trauma gonna pile up into a real fun time for us. Bro, I already have some plans for how I want to write the Cain death scene, and I know this sounds really fucked up, but like, I want it to hit. I want you to cry. I want to traumatize my readers. But it's gonna be fun. Well, it's not gonna be fun, especially not for Cain. But anyway, so Act 3, Vanya arrives in Irileth and she's adjusting to living comfortably, right? She has her little Orphan Annie moment, right? She goes from like the rags to riches, right? She develops a friendship with the florist Severin, right? So florist in this context is very different. Bro isn't just making flower arrangements. Bro is making the flowers, right? Severin is a plant druid, right? And he helps her adjust to her new lifestyle and learn about the noble houses and politics in Irileth. So Severin's whole thing is, and you can kind of see some stuff over here. I haven't fully thought out Intermission 1, but his whole thing is he's very quiet, but he's very talented. And he was kind of, you know, a noble family took him in because they saw this fucking kid just with all these crazy, you know, skills walking around. And we're like, hey, you work for us. But that's what he does, is he handles all the flower arrangements, all the florals, and he tends the greenhouse in one of the castles in Irileth. But the thing is Severin is very quiet, he's very shy, and he's very unassuming. So when he walks into a room to start doing shit, people don't stop their conversations, right? People assume he's just not paying attention. He's just in his own little world. Right? Reality is, Severin hears everything, right? People just kind of think he's a little quirky and a little odd, so they think he's just not all there, right? But he knows everything. So he gives Vanya all the tea on high society. I literally wrote here, Severin gives her the tea, right? But when she attends her first court meeting, she actually sees Faldra, the assassin from before, sitting with one of the noble families, and that's when things get weird. So then Vanya's gonna have her own competition moment, because this is a magocracy. So every 20 years there's a competition to determine which noble family leads Irileth, and for the past 100 years the Illyri family has led the country. So Vanya has 3 years to prepare for the tournament, right? But now it's kind of like the same thing, and Vanya has this whole thing of like, this is stupid. Like, it's the same shit that Freya was doing, just different, like, skin of paint, right? Or this is dumb, right? So again, it's a lot of that hypocrisy, right? And then there's a lot of drama because it's like a lot of arguments about Vanya's legitimacy as a contender because she's not actually related to them by blood. But the queen of the Illyri family, the head of the Illyri family, she can't have children. Like, that's her argument. It's like, this is my only way to do it, right? They can't let the Illyri name die out, even if the blood magic does. And she is your combat mage training arc. And then honestly, all of this, I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do with. We need to figure out Freya's depression arc. But eventually she does get a break to go find Severin's brother, Jasper. And that's where it starts leading to, why is she finding Jasper? Jasper's an extremely gifted blacksmith who knows how to craft weapons and armor that are magic resistant. And they don't tell her why they need that, but eventually it's kind of figured out. Eldor is going to try to take Irileth back, because Irileth used to be part of the Eldian Empire, and they want that shit back. It's personal, and we're going to talk about why later. And why it's personal actually does relate to my VTuber lore a little bit. But yeah, that's what I've got so far. I don't know what's going to happen beyond that, but that's the tea. That's it. So I think what we're going to do, I'm feeling pretty good about ending chapter 5 right there. So I'm gonna make chapter 6 right now. So we're gonna do act 1 part 6. We'll do the little tagline later, I think. And we'll just take this and I'm probably gonna rewrite a lot of this, but just so I know what the fuck I'm doing, we're gonna put that here. Oh wait, no, paste with formatting. There we go.
So yeah, that's about it.
I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I had a lot of fun, and I didn't think we would get all of this done, but I'm ready to like at my beta readers and be like, okay, I've cooked. Is it good? Is it good? Yay. Okay. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and thank you so much for all the love on my story. As I said before, if you want to read my book, the first 4 chapters are out. It is also related to my VTuber lore. My VTuber lore isn't directly related to story, but is related to the religious pantheon of this world. Pretty much my VTuber is a prophet. She's kind of like Mother Mary in a way. So the lore video is up on my YouTube if you're interested in that, for my debut, as well as all of my VODs for my other streams, as well as my first character lore stream, which I did a while back, which was really fun, where we kind of went more into the characters and their relationships themselves. It was a little bit more yappy. But I also have a Twitter and a TikTok and a Discord, and we do have a channel in the Discord if you'd like to discuss what has been posted so far and get other Viseron lore. That's what this is called, is Tales of Viseron. The world is named Viseron. Might retcon the title because it's kind of basic, you know, but that's it's a working title, you know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know I did. I had so much fun, and we were productive. I'm really proud of us for actually being productive. I didn't think, low-key, I was worried I wouldn't get anything done, but like, we cooked, you know? So let's see who's live, and then we will go send our love and affection to them. Let's go. Lavi's streaming. Lavi's my friend. Lavi actually also did all the animation in my lore video, but he is a dear friend of mine. I love him to death. And he's playing Genshin Impact. So let me make sure I spelled his name right. And our raid message is gonna be, I mean, he knows how fucking unhinged I am, so we can have like a crazy raid message. What do we want our raid message to be? Let's just do, we'll do lore raid, and we'll do, if you have any of the OC emotes, like the Vanya, the Jasper, the Severin emote, we'll use those in the spirit of things. Let me see. We're gonna go lore raid. And let me type that up. Okay. Cool. Alright. Gamers, I will catch you on the flip side. Actually, no, I won't catch you on the flip side. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, me and David are starting our new Skyrim playthrough together. We are playing through Legacy of the Dragonborn correctly with our character, Faldra Volrad, that we talked a little bit about today. And we are going to be starting that tomorrow. And then Sunday, we're back to Skyrim Sunday. All right. Good night, gamers. I will see you tomorrow, and have a wonderful rest of your night, morning, or wherever you are. Have a good evening. All right. Bye-bye. Did you hear that? My voice cracked. Holy shit. Bye-bye.